Opposition, fall in line. Let we march, 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 let we march. Guys, it is Wednesday and it is on Saturday that we're gonna see each other on the outside. We're gonna be outside, y'all. Let we march, let we march, let we march. We're gonna be hearing that song very, very soon. If we can get that up on the screen as soon as possible. Let we march. We're gonna get that up, but we're gonna do some things before that. But listen. Good night to everybody. Let we march, let we march, let we march, let we march for our dignity. Yes? Let us stand up. Game over. The game is over. Barbados people are up. You hear I tell you? If I go to the supermarket, people stopping me. I go wherever I go, people are stopping me. Game is over. They know it. Game is over. Don't mind all the talk. They are aware. Born again. You were on from 618. You know game is over. And this government knows game over. People up already. People standing up. The entire Barbados is up. Our ancestors are cheering us on. Yes, Buster. Yes, they're cheering us on because game over. Barbadians are up. I tell you, everywhere I go, some they come and whisper and say, I can't come on Saturday because I'm working. Or they say, I have a government job. Right? Yes. They say we have a government job. I think I called for that one too soon. What I really need is the anthem. And then we go into that one. Right? So let's do the anthem first. But Annette Wood, let me tell you, Annette, the people are up. You hear what I tell you? The people are up, Marlene Seeley. The people are up. People are donating. We're still out a few dollars. We're still out. We're still out. But let me tell you, the people are donating. They are donating. And I tell you, I'm telling you, the Lord has been the people's guide. Yes, Tracy Barrow. Yeah, we're gonna do that anthem in a moment. Heathcliff. Yes. Marvin Allen. The people are awake. They are awake. I tell you, Bob, the sleeping giant has risen up. This giant, let me tell you, we could take a lot of things, you know. We can do some long suffering. We're a set of people, Belgians, we could take a lot, but you see, there comes a time. Oh, you heard, we're gonna talk about it when Mr. Caswell Franklyn come on, talking about anarchists. And then the PM some time ago talk about when we're talking about the water, she mentioned the word treasonous. Do you understand how those are words that are used inside of a dictatorship? Who here? Where's the anarchy? Where is the anarchy? I tell you, the people are fed up with them. Game over for them. Game over. Loyal daughter, Galbiz, Erwin Nurse, we standing up strong. Shirley Joseph, we up and ready. We up and ready. And we don't need to carry any arms. This is not no physical violence. We're people of the intellect, that we're Barbadians. We can think for ourselves. Llewellyn, Eiffel, Emerson Bob, good night. Yes, we think for ourselves. Hasbro. And that's why we come on every night, because you see, I told you, I told you all that once Barbados understood, once Bajans understood Sugarcane King, I said it. Stop calling Bajans passive. It's a lie. You're going to see what's going to happen in this nation. They're going to punish them. Bajans going to punish them. You won't listen to us. You told us you're going to give us a referendum. That is where it started, Well, it started before that, but that was one of the main things that people said, liars. They're telling lies. This government telling lies. They tell us one thing and doing something else. That's it, Where was the referendum? No referendum. All these things they do to our children and get away with it. Rameem, scot-free. Oswald Newton. We chatted yesterday. Oh my Lord. It was yesterday or day before. Dear Pastor, Margaret Holder. Hey, I wonder if that's my friend Margaret. Zaire Campbell, we up. Tell them we up. Tell them we up. Tell them we wake up. Tell them we wake up. Tell them we wake up. We up. Tell them we wake up. Tell them we wake up. We up. Yeah. We up. Listen, we're not sleeping. We're not passive. We're not sleeping. We're not passive. We're not sleeping. We're not passive. We up. We up. We're done with that. The spell is broken. We gave you all the chances. We gave you all the chances and you blew it. You blew it. You took our trust and you walk on it just like you did with the hope project. You took our hopes and dash it down. Dash it down and walk all over it. Elaine Rivers. Yes, CG. Oh my God. CG said, good night, Marcy and everybody. Having a government job can't stop anyone from marching. I'm a civil servant and I march. Yes. Good. And CG is doing up there. I don't know if she will let me show one of the placards that she did for Mr. Franklyn. Hilarious, but powerful. Send me a message, CG. CG is making the placards at Unity Workers Union. All right. So if you want to help her, I would hope you would want to help her. Go down there, and she's there and making placards, getting everything ready for us for Saturday. Saturday is going to be a big day. Don't find an excuse. Do all the chores, do all the shopping, do some of the weekend shopping on Friday evening from work. Go and do it so that you can come out on Saturday morning, right? Or do it Saturday evening, but put some of what you have to do Thursday, Friday. Don't get up. Come out. Freedom is a must. They cannot take our freedom of speech. They're going to walk in our churches and stop us from speaking too. That's what they're going to want to do. Yes? Mystic Angel, George Rowe, right? We're going to do the anthem just as I finish greeting everybody. Ruben, Pauline Maynard. Wow, guys. Thank you and thank you. I can't say everybody. I can't say yes. We up. We wake up. We up. I can't remember the little tune I had. We up. Somebody can make a calypso, man. Somebody write something now. Write something. Write something, man. This is how, you can take all the bashment soca and thing and write something positive on that rhythm, Yeah. Yes, hello, are you there? Yes. Cali B. Hey, Cali B. Greetings from Reading. We up. I said we up. We up. Everybody up. Everybody wake up. We up. Everybody up. We wake up. Yes, man. At work and in lockdown, Sandra Franklyn. Jericho wall will come down in the name of the Lord. Yes. Guys, tonight is an exciting night. And I know you are sharing game over. Listen, you see, I take off my glasses, eyes wide open. So, strong Bajans, wherever you are, if you're at work, I want you, if you can, take a pause. The anthem going to play right now. Respect for the anthem. Yeah. So wherever we are, we love Barbados. That's why we do this. So we're gonna play the anthem right now. Yeah. So,
free and great be our nation grow in strength and unity. With loyal souls and daughters of to divine name in God. His fields and hills beyond the top are now our very own. We write our name on this stage with expectations great. Sing our for everything, and blessed all faith.
Oh my word. Oh Lord of mercy. Did you love that, guys? Or what? Listen. Oh goodness. I hope you could have heard that well. Did you like that? Did you like the videography there? Did you like the edit? Oh my Lord, that was so beautiful. Did you see? I wonder if you saw yourself marching there. Oh, tell me, loyal opposition, what are your thoughts about that? That was done by one of you all, yeah? John Moore, Mr. John Moore did that for us. John Moore did that for, oh, somebody said, very nice, John, if you're listening. Very nice, definitely goosebumps, lovely. Yes, yes, let him see it. Listen, and he did this for, this is his donation to us. This is his donation to us. It is all about us, and this is why we're coming together. It is about, yes. Yes, 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 yes. Very beautiful, very beautiful. Kemar says every Bajan should be playing the national anthem at a particular time every weekend. Send a message to this wannabe dictator. You will not muzzle Bajans. These fields and hills beyond recall, they're now our very own. We Bajan to the core. You understand? You understand? Oh my gosh. Oh Lord, that was so beautiful, man. Yes, Marcy, my name said she loved the presentation. Very powerful. Watching from London. Yes. Yes. Sir Alfred. Yes, yes, yes. Hi, Steve Moore. Steve, did you see it? Did you see that anthem? I know it moves something inside of you. It should move something in. Nicola says it was awesome. Yes. Yes. Talent abounds. Yes. 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 Bajan Eagle. Did you see Trevor's edit? That was beautiful and different. Yes. Yes, really hit home. Really hit home. Oh wow, yes, yes. Listen, guys. Listen. So, it's not just about the goosebumps, but it's us standing up for Barbados. Hi, Marcia. Marcia said good night. Good night. It was wonderful. Listen, guys. It's not just about having goosebumps. It is about standing up. That anthem calls you to stand up and feel proud. Do you understand? We're strict guardians of our heritage. Nobody's going to come and tell us what we are not. Okay? And treat us any kinds of way. Throw jobby on us and give us jobby water and all kinds of jobby. You understand? No, we're not the dump. We're not the dump. It makes me sad to see how they want to treat us. Yeah? Hi, John. John, the people loving your work, John. The people loving your work. Yes, it's beautiful. It is beautiful. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your work. Thank you. I didn't even get a chance to call you because I just been very, very busy. I know you understand, but I really, really appreciate what you have done. Yes, CC, so excited. Yes, CC, if you're in Barbados, CC, the place to be is at Massey Car Park on Saturday. That's the place to be. And let me tell you something. It's the kind of march that you can bring your children. Some of you are saying, well, I have my children, I have to babysit, I have to take care of my children. You can bring your children, you can put them in the stroller. They could walk with you. You can give them a Barbados flag. There will be nothing there that a child cannot participate in. You understand? You can come, bring your children. We have water for you. We only have one thing of juice, but we will have water for sure for you, and we will try our best to, so the march. You've got to come to the march. It's important. There are 400 of you on. Some of you are in the diaspora. If you're not in the diaspora, you can. And I think we've asked the police. Did we ask the police about a van? That you got the permission? How many seater? How many person does it seat? Okay. But listen, folks, we just got the permission. We just got the permission to have a van on the road for those people who can't walk properly. Those people who can, we have a lot of retired people who are involved. Now, it's not for those young retired people, it's for those people who have knee problems, all right? And you can't walk, right? You can't walk. We're going to drive you. We're going to drive you. We just got permission. Right now, my husband just came and told me they just got permission. We've had some beautiful relationship with the police, and we want to keep it that way. And so we have permission for a van for those people who cannot march, okay, because of knee injuries, not feeling well, but they're for the cause. Bring a Barbadian flag so we can stick that through the window. We'll, put your placards through, we will provide the transportation, all right? So you can't come. It's only one van. Don't be mistaken. Only one van that is provided by us. All right, we're going to obey the law, and you can be in the van, stick your placard through. Yes, and we're going to pace up that van so they know that van is with us. All right, so that all our different, there are people already asking me about that, so we were able to get that for you. All right, so Saturday is the place to be. Bring up the family, make it a family affair. Come out with the children, everybody. Now, I don't know. Let me move this so you can see, because I want to brag off on the opposition. I see Mr. Franklyn there. He'll soon come on. You see this little necklace that I have here? This here is from one of the opposition members, right? I went up to St. John Parish Church yesterday. It was Tuesday. Yes, yesterday. And as soon as I got out of the car, I heard Marcia Weeks. And as I look over, and I'm hoping that I would get the name of the person there, but he sells there and has some beautiful piece of jewelry made. This is made out of do we call it godi? I can't calabash. And it's beautiful. And I got this from him. I bought this from him, and I told him I will say something on the program, right? Then there is another man in St. Philip, and he sells cane juice. And Mr. Franklyn, he's doing his papers, but he's listening. You ready, Mr. Franklyn, to come on? Okay. Good night, sir.
Good night. Nice to be here.
Yes, good to see you. That haircut still speaking. The haircut still speaking.
I ain't gonna keep it low.
Keep it low. Listen, I was telling them about my calabash necklace here that was made by one of our members. As soon as I got there, he was calling my name. And before I left there, actually, another one that sells there as well. I don't know if I can mention him, but he came over and says, listen, I've made a commitment. I'm going to give $100 a month towards the marches. He came over, tell me, I mean, I just turn up at this place. If I go to the supermarket, Mister, wherever we go, there are people are coming up to us. One man in St. Philip, he sells cane juice. I mean, the most. You've had cane juice before, Mr. Franklin?
Up to Saturday.
Oh my Lord! No, you need to taste this one down in St. Philip. Where you get yours?
I got mine from a lady who sells in the market,
I
cheapside
hope we could.
market.
I hope we could put up his pictures on here, but and people know my number 2367000. If you want some fresh canned juice, and this man, and so we got the canned juice, and he says to me, he smiles, and says, "I know you." I said, "From where?" He said, "I watch you every night." He said, "I watch you and Mr. Franklin every night, and then we were able to, we had some can at home, and we actually took it to him, and he juiced it for us, as well, so we go and we get our cane juice from him. And anybody, if you have, you do anything and you want us to talk about it, we're a family. We don't want to take up the whole show, Mr. Franklin, to talk about products. But I think one hand can wash the other because people are coming on and we're connecting with each other. So I hope we could have had the pictures the pictures on okay, I think the pictures are coming on of the cane juice. Yes, so
Spiritual
this is
world.
huh?
Spiritual world. You know what?
Yes, and it trust me, it is really good. And he has one that has ginger in it. He has one that has ginger in it, and the number is there. Call him up, and he will do it for you, fresh, 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 fresh. So we just want to big up our people because they come on, Mr. Franklin, and they support the show. Outside of the people coming on here, there is no show. We'll be here talking to ourselves, right, Mr. Franklin?
Yeah, look at I can that. I wouldn't like that at all.
Sir, I was up last night and reading up and researching about Senegal. And I want to share with you a few things, Mr. Franklin, before I know you have a tons of things to talk about. I won't take up a lot of time, but we can have a little discussion here about Senegal because it's a very serious situation that occurred that we have to ask questions about it. Okay. Now, what I found out about this leader is that Macky Sall, right? President Macky Sall. What I found out is that this president, Mr. Franklin, is accustomed to shutting down his opponents, right? By sending them to jail. The opposition that he did this to, a young man, very young man, was a whistleblower inside of his government. Because there was some corruption and he came out and spoke out against the president. So obviously they fired him. So he started his own party. And you know what? The president said he offended him in something that he said, and therefore they lock up the guy. They locked up this opposition. There is also his name is Usamani. Um, his name Sonko, right? Usmani Sonko, the opposition leader, locked up in jail, and therefore his name was therefore removed from the
Remove
ballot
from the ballot.
because there's a journalist, another journalist, Adama Gay. He's an author and journalist, and he was put in prison by the same man that visited Barbados, by Macky Sall, that was here, that was lauded as a hero among us, who we rolled out the carpet to for. And he locked up this journalist. You know why, Mr. Franklin? The journalist wrote a book and he was offended. You listen to me? He was offended and therefore he locked up this journalist. This man, Macky Sall. These are the things that it's reported. It's reported that it's doing. We've been trying to get hold of people in Senegal because the question is, why he sign a memorandum of understanding with Barbados 20 days before he leaves
because
office?
he had never had any intention of leaving office. That's the thing. But happy, and you must be careful. He came to Barbados to show us how it is done. That's all he came here for, you know. And you must always remember that the prime minister surrounds herself, or somehow she's unfortunate enough to always butt up on seedy characters. She just here in the region, boy, about to say when he was president, everybody knew he was being hunted by the courts in the Netherlands because of his murder. He was associated with the murder of 15 opponents, 15 people that didn't agree with him when he took over the government, killed all of them, and he held power because he held the power by the force of the gun. But that is the person that this government sided with. There's no war relationship with the new government in Suriname isn't as good as we would like it to be. That's how come though Althea Wiggins, who was the special envoy to Suriname, they had to give you some work in Guyana to do because Suriname ain't got much to do with this now because she got too close to the wrong people. Now this same to say has been convicted of murder and sentenced, and he's out and about. Nobody knows where he is, and he's in a jail, but they're looking for him. He was supposed to report to jail and he ain't going. And these are the type of people. She likes Macron. Mind you, Macron is saying that this coup has some French inspired thing in it. Macron again. She was up there singing Macron's praises. She likes Trudeau. You see, all the seedy characters of the world are heroes to the leader of this country.
Yeah. What is odd about it, as I was saying, Mr. Franklin, that um, you know, he went back and he cut off the internet. Because remember Kemar was saying that no, they want to give us free Wi-Fi, right? So they control it. So what he did, he shut down the internet on the people and basically did a constitutional coup. He says, listen, he will he's not going to hold election until whenever he decides. He changed the date on the people. Changed the date on the people and said that sometimes towards the end of the year. No particular date, nothing. And the U.S. Senate Foreign Relations Committee Chair Ben Cardin, he actually condemned this behavior of this president. A
Thank you,
president.
Gal. Thank you, Gal Biz.
Repeat, please.
I said thank you, Gal Biz. Gal Biz made a comment.
Yeah. Yes. Listen, the U.S. Senator, the U.S. Senate Foreign Relations Committee Chair Ben Cardin, he condemns what this man has done, what Macky Sall has done, right? The West Africa's economic and political bloc, they're calling for the reestablishment of the electoral calendar. Now, where am I going with this? Do you remember when the war in Ukraine started? And our prime minister of 260 something thousand of people raised her gnarled finger and pointed at Putin and reprimanded Putin. And this man left her house meaning Barbados, right? It's like somebody leave your house and go and do something so terrible, right? And you don't rise up and distance yourself from that person. Supposing, Mr. Franklin, you and I are friends, and then I hear 2 days later that and it's proven that you go down the road and then you go and you hurt somebody. I'm gonna come on here and say, well, I know Mr. Franklin, but I didn't know that was his behavior or whatever. and that is not, I would disassociate myself with you once it's proven. We have not heard anything, but she stayed here and she said, "Put on," and she raised her finger at him, and she was ready for him, right? Yeah, they had that meeting down in St. Vincent that they didn't invite her at to deal with Chavez and thing. She took herself and gone there, right? To push her mouth in there. So why we don't hear you? The U.S. Senate Foreign Relations Committee Chair Ben Cardin said that what Macky Sall did was wrong. Why can't we hear from our Prime Minister? The man was just here. You told us he was a good man. You gave it was a state visit.
Mm-hmm.
We have a memorandum of understanding. What we're going to do? We're going to continue with that.
And he's going to teach us how to do it. That that I think that was the reason why he was here. Because he knew that he wasn't going to leave office. This wasn't a off the cuff thing that he went back home and said, something. Let me do this because they got public country. If they got public country, call the police. That's what they got police for. But he had no intentions of leaving, and this is the kind of example that she would like to follow here. You see, she wants to shut us down, don't want us to speak, and muzzle me and you and Kemar and lock us up because she does not. She subscribes to this type of behavior, and she is associating herself with the wrong type of people and putting Barbados with these international. She had the guy from Rwanda here too. No, you see, these are the type of people that she loves, and he is no saint either.
Exactly. I'm saying that when I read what happened, what he did to that young man who blew the whistle on him, because he's been there for 11 years as president. What he did to that is a young lawyer that he did to him, where they trump up a rape charge on that young man. After they went to court, then the whole thing was thrown out. But now he has this charge that is sticking. With he was offended and he was this and whatever. And this is when you read upon him, they tell you that he knocks out all the opposition with legal challenges. He puts them in jail, Mr. Franklyn. He
But
trumps up charges on them.
the cybercrime bill will do exactly that, because that bill says whether it's true or not, and you put it out there on the internet or whatever, you have committed a crime, even if you tell the truth. So if that is what this government is subscribing to, we need to get rid of them post haste. I think they're in there too long.
Yeah. Okay. This Macky Sall. Sorry, I said Sally. Sorry, Macky Sall is his name. Macky Sall. I'm sorry. Yeah. Really and truly, when you think about it, the more I thought about it, I think that people. This is why you have to come to the march. What is happening? They want this. They want this government would want what is happening right now in Senegal. They want that to be happening in Barbados, and that's why they're pushing this. Mr. Franklyn, you heard sorry, 1 second. Someone just sent me something here about the Liberia, the former president, where brags of leaving behind over US $40 million in government coffers. Liberia's former president George Weah has disclosed that he has left the total cash balance of US $40 million in the government's consolidated accounts. Ambassador Way recounted that in 2018, his government inherited a consolidated cash of $7 million from former President Ellen Jason Sirleaf, delivering his farewell message to the Liberian people late Sunday evening. The ex-Liberian leader bragged about exiting the presidency with a better economy for the administration. Wow. And he left back money. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, but being a left back now, being a left back debt.
Oh my gosh, I tell you. But you were saying about that cyber bill. Now, I don't know if you heard that the Attorney General, your friend, I know he's your friend, the Attorney General Dale Marshall,
I used to think so.
um, he he had something to say about everybody who's speaking about this bill, right? Barbados today it says that that he essentially dismissed the concerns of Barbadians, right? And subject matter experts with regards to the provisions in the cybercrime bill that can be misused or abused to violate the rights of citizens. The Attorney General was quoted as saying, Mr. Franklin, he said, the government has considered all the criticisms raised by commentators and found them without merit.
I
So
saw, I read that.
in the space of time, they did all that research already and found that they're all without merit because the individuals simply did not understand the legislation as it was drafted. Right now, Neil Harper is a cyber expert. Right, a son of the soil, lives in Germany. And he wrote this. He said, not only myself, but several other subject matter experts in Barbados have expressed deep concerns regarding the provisions in the bill and the vague and broad language. As someone who has worked on cybercrime law, digital policy, and cybersecurity in over 50 countries, I find the AG statement highly offensive, Neil Harper says. The amusing thing is that the General literally has no experience in this area of law. More concerning is that the court officers and law enforcement officers who will have to implement the requirements of this legislation are also largely unqualified to interpret and properly apply its provision. This reality should scare Barbadians. It should scare us, which is why you got to come out on Saturday. Furthermore, my concerns have been echoed by experts around the world. And he gave so many examples. Article 9, leading human rights organization, criticisms of the Budapest Convention upon which the cybercrime bill is based. Access 9, another one, electronic freedom frontier. All of these different, there's so many, about 5 or 6. These are global organizations that have criticized this kind of bill. Mr. Neil Harper, the cyber expert, says, don't get me wrong, the cybercrime bill is critically needed to protect citizens against internet threat actors and malicious online parties. It is also the right decision to align with the Budapest Convention, particularly the second protocol. However, the government needs to balance the rights of individuals with the protection of citizens from online harms. Article 15 of the Budapest Convention requires that government provides conditions and safeguards to ensure the adequate protection of human rights and liberties, including the principle of proportionality. These conditions and safeguards should include judicial or other independent supervisions, grounds justifying application, and limitation of the scope and duration of such power of procedure. I mentioned these issues in my comments to government, and they have provided no assurances that these mechanisms will be put in place. They expect citizens to simply trust that the judiciary and law enforcement will not abuse or misuse such broad powers. The government of Barbados has also created a false narrative around the reasons for the cybercrime bill and has refused to address the real issue. Marsha Cattle has obsessively spoken about preventing cyberbullying. Dale Marshall keeps alluding to child pornography. Yes, the bill does rightfully address these things among a myriad of other cybercrimes, example hacking, malicious communication, online terrorism, unauthorized access. However, the cyber bill also gives the courts and law enforcement expansive powers to confiscate persons' devices, computers, laptops, tablets, mobile phones on spurious grounds. The bill also allows law enforcement to force you to give them access to your devices or charge you for not complying. The bill allows courts and law enforcement to force Digicel or Flow to provide all your location data from cell towers, all your internet browsing activity, and the metadata about who you call, how often you call them, the length of your conversation, etc., without sufficient legal basis. This, Mr. Franklin, is not coming from me and you, although you have said it on this program. Kemar has said it on this program, who's here in the waiting, we're in the green room. But it's coming from Neil Harper, a cyber expert, and they refuse to listen to him as well.
That is
The
called
bill,
supreme arrogance.
supreme arrogance. The bill grants law enforcement the authority to intercept your communications and to store this data indefinitely with only the oath of a police officer as the basis for obtaining the warrant. Barbados, listen up. You can't say you did not hear it on here. The bill also doesn't guarantee sufficient protection of your personal data when police officers keep it indefinitely, allowing for persons to violate your privacy rights or tamper with evidence before it reaches the courts. It can essentially create a surveillance society and an environment for rampant personal data misuse and abuse without the necessary checks and balances and or independent oversight. This, my fellow Barbadians, he says, should be a major concern for every citizen of Barbados. He says, finally, as much as it loads me to do this, I have to say why I'm uniquely qualified to comment on the cybercrime bill and related matters, and why it is beyond arrogant and insulting for the Attorney General to state that commentators do not understand the law as drafted. And he listed all, all about 3 pages of his credentials that this arrogant government refuses to listen to. Neil Harper, he's not a white man, he's a black Barbadian who has gone to school and worked and set up these kind of laws in over 50 countries. But because it is supposed to protect us, they will not listen. I hope you all heard tonight, Mr. Franklin.
You see, the thing is, the attorney general is alleged to be a lawyer. I could only say alleged because from his mouthings, I'm not certain. No, you know, he challenged me too, a layman, and he was embarrassed in the end because I remember with the matter with the police when they said there was only supposed in law only supposed to be one deputy commissioner of police. Both he and the prime minister laughed at me, and then when they checked the law, they realized that it was right, and then they had to go to parliament and pass a law and backdate it because the fella that they were appointed was already there. They don't check. He is shoddy when it comes to interpreting the law. I have never seen a attorney general that's so deficient, and then he wanted to delve into an area that he has absolutely no skill. Well, he has some skill in law, which is limited, and but from what I can see, because I am only telling you what I have observed, because he is frequently wrong, and he is supposed to be the attorney general, and he is supposed to certify that bills that go before Parliament is good or are good. And you see how many come back and have to be sent back and redrafted and repealed and replaced and all kind of stuff because he is not fit for the task. I'm not saying he's not a lawyer. He's admitted to the bar, but he's one of the poorest lawyers that we have in Barbados. And I'm not talking poor in terms of finances. I'm talking poor in terms of ability. And he should really be in the Ministry of Elder Care, or if you want to keep him in the cabinet, something like that, where you don't have to have much skill, and let the civil servants guide him. But he, as an expert in law, and they have my expert in several inverted commas, he is just thinks that he can talk to people and condescend, and is wrong. Now, when you hear Neil Harper speak about anything computer, you are supposed to listen. You're not supposed to be that arrogant. He knows very little. I think he knows what a mouse is. And besides that, I don't know anything else. He want to speak, and then what troubles me is that he would try to convince people, oh, this is about child pornography and that kind of nonsense. It is about that too. That's not what it's all about. But he would want to, just like the other lady that I want to apologize to later, um, who gets up and jumped up and go and tell the crowd, oh, people should be locked up. I'm talking about Miss Bradshaw. Because Marcia, forgive me, but I saw her, and several people sent this clip to me, and a lot of people asked me if I get my letter yet. The answer to that is no. I'm still waiting. However, before she sends the letter, if she hasn't sent it already, I got a little more things for she to add. No, those letters usually come from a lawyer, and they say, well, that you said certain things about the person and they're defamatory and whatever, and they want you to apologize and offer some money, or not, they're going to take you to court. But before I get my letter, let me do the apology. I am sorry that she's not in jail, because according to this legislation, the penalties for this legislation, if you go on an indictment, you could pay a fine of $1,500,000 or 15 years in jail. If you go before a magistrate, it's $500,000 or 10 years in jail. And you got disqualified from holding public office for 10 years. So I'm sorry about all of that. Do you think that would work? Because I am really sorry.
Yeah, but the thing is this. As you know, on this show, I've always, before I talk about that particular issue, always said, well, we don't know. We're asking questions. I've always prefaced whatever I'm saying. So I don't know. Everybody asked me if I got a letter as well, but I can tell you this. Once I know my heart is clean, Mr. Franklin, I tell you, there's nothing. There is nothing. And I read a book. I read this book here, Mr. Franklin, and I don't want to go off topic, but it's still on the same topic. This is this book by Margaret Breedy. And I will say to people, get a hold of this book. I do not go to Margaret Breedy's church, please. Because next thing you're going to say, I am pushing this because I'm a member of the church. I am not a member of Margaret Breedy's church. I don't go to the church. I read this book in one sitting. The book is called The Law, the Broken Judicial System, and Police Brutality in Barbados. And it is her account of them coming to lock her up, and her children and her secretary, her assistant, and everybody. They hauled down to the police and grab the woman out of her house. According to her, according to this book, she alleges that they pull her out of her house in her nightgown. And this is this kind of state. This is what they want. This is the kind of republic. This is the kind of republic that they want. This is the kind of republic that this government wants. You see, that you can't say anything. And so, yes, okay, so when I don't know if she broke the law, But even if she broke the law, that's how you're going to bring all these police cars for what? Break down, push down the woman, put drag her on the floor. What is all of that about? And I encourage people to read it. Mr. Franklin, it's a good read because this is what they want to do to people. It's in the she's one of the first ones that were prosecuted under that law. And I don't the law that law says that the police has to come to you like that. Is that what happens?
No, but they're show of force. They want to terrorize you. You know, they want to make sure that they terrorize you. So nobody else want that to happen to them, and they want to make sure that you don't come back again, because they're even if you are found not guilty in the courts, you don't want to go through that trauma again, and that is what they want. This is terrorism, state-sponsored terrorism, and
Yeah.
I tell you, and I will talk about it every time I get the opportunity. Look what has happened in the country. The defense force, the police, all are hand-picked. The leaders of those things are all hand-picked. You can't find a fellow who you think supports the Dems in the hierarchy of the police force. No, that is the problem. You know,
You
so when
know,
you have all the leaders, this will happen. But let me just finish what we're saying.
yes.
I was looking through some old documents that I have, and I say, it says in law, defamation is the communication of a statement that makes a false claim, expressly stated or implied to be factual. Now, what is that false claim that I made? That I read in the newspaper that Santa Barbara admitted that she took $7,500 from a person. Is that the false claim? But she admitted it. She started the defamation on herself then, because I'm only repeating what she said. That she has done it in the past, and that a lot of people do it. Donald's defense that didn't succeed in the United States either. You know, and so is that what we are defaming? We are saying what she admitted, and that becomes defamation. I am troubled, you know, and so she can put something in the tail, you know, get animated, and you hear the yard folks clucking in the back, you know, and applauding and stuff, and she's parading. What she must do is to say, "I am sorry I got caught," you know, because this was, you know, they said God moves in mysterious ways. I'm not saying that God made that man to be a thief, but if that thief did not go in there, we would not have known that she's accepting money from people who works, who does contract work for her ministry. The act that she helped to pass, the Prevention of Corruption Act 2021, calls what she did is received as an advantage. An advantage is defined as, in part, I'm going to read the whole thing. It includes, and it says, money and any gift, loan, fee, reward, bonus, commission. She received money. So she received an advantage. And then it goes on to say that if you accept an advantage, there's a presumption of corruption unless on the balance of probabilities you can prove otherwise. So she now should be proven, instead of jumping up saying that she didn't take the money because she took it.
My thing about it is that, Mr. Franklin, as I said from the beginning of the show, we are here, we ask questions. There was something in the newspaper, and we asked questions about it. There was no, she didn't go to any it wasn't in a court of law. We don't, so they would have to try her for us to know if she's guilty or
No,
whatever. You
I am
understand?
not
So
saying I am not saying
you know,
that she's guilty of anything. I am saying that
right.
she said that she received it. She said, and
So
if
no,
she said,
nobody's saying that she's
I
guilty
can
of anything.
rely
But
I can rely on her word about her, and she said she received it. Now, if she comes back now and said that somebody pelted through the window and it dropping up tray on the table and all that stuff, that is her business. You know, it is. Look, politicians receive money all the time and break brown paper bags, but hers was arrogance. I can take money, but you can't do me nothing. We ain't doing anything. We are just now reporting what happened in the courts. The guy forged a check that was mailed out to her in the bank, and they called the police, and the police locked her up. She admitted that it was her check that she was given to her by this company that does work in the ministry. What is so defamatory and want to destroy her character? She is the person who is destroying her own character by accepting an advantage from somebody that then she should not have done so. The problem is that we have a police force that is controlled by the Barbados Labour Party. So this case will not see the light of day in a criminal court, high or low.
Yeah. So
And
which we
that is
would never do.
unfortunate.
Unfortunate, because we would never know whether she is innocent, or guilty, how the law would see her. And that is really what this is all about. So I don't know what this whole thing is all about. It seems to me like it's all parading. But the point we're making here, though, Mr. Franklin, is that this is the way that this government wants to go. They want to make this a police state, and this is why I say, because when you listen, I believe there's 700, over 700 people on here. And Mr. Harper, I was just speaking to him as we were talking. I know this is a big one from Miss McLean, but I put it up so we could read it. And Mr. Harper says he gives me the permission. He says, I was just talking to Mr. Harper because I asked him, I told him I was going to read it on the program, just want to do things right. And he said, it's fine. And he says to me, sure, do whatever you need to. And I say to Barbadians, the good thing, Mr. Franklin, is that we can read. Barbadians we can read, and I want to send out this article to everybody, all 722 of you. And when you get it, just share it. It's going to take you. It's a little lengthy, but you must read it. It's like required reading. Very, very important. This is something that I want to see the third parties on, Mr. Franklin. Every Barbados. I want to see the DLP speaking on this. Everybody get involved. This is our country. No, it's not about colors. We're not thinking about no colors now. They're taking away our soul from us. They're trying to enslave us again. And we say, hell no. That's all that is happening. Saturday, we've got to come out. The numbers have got to reflect that. If you can't walk, we're going to provide a van for you to sit down in. Ms. McLean says here, I read Mr. Harper's several contributions to this cybercrime bill. He also spoke on VOB. People understand his knowledge of the subject and respect his serious, in-depth contribution. To dismiss his concerns as not material and they are not worth consideration is ridiculous. This is arrogance to the height. Why am I not surprised by the AG's comments? He needs to reflect on the pieces of legislation that we have had to visit under his watch. Every single one of them. There is a big issue about it, right, Mr. Franklin?
There's only one piece of legislation that I can remember that they did not have to revisit, and I'm going to be fair to them. That was the legislation dealing with the increase in their pay. I kid you not. That didn't have to go back with that one at all. So I wouldn't allow you to go and say that all had to go back. That one didn't. That one went right through. Oh dear.
Yes. Everybody needs to Mr. Franklin is gone. Okay, Kemar is there, but I'm not sure if he's ready. I see Miss Coretta on from Guyana. Hello, Honorable Coretta McDonald. How
Yes.
are you?
Hi, dearie. Good night to you. Good night to my family in Barbados. Good night to all my folks here in Guyana. Look, I love you.
Good night. It's good to see you.
It's good to see you too.
The next time you see me, I might be waving from Dodge prison, so I'm glad to see you now.
You know what? We here in Guyana, our teachers here in Guyana are on industrial action. I did share a couple of the videos and so on with you, but you know what? Our teachers have decided that enough is enough. We have waited for 3 long years, and we will not continue to wait on the government. You know, when we look at the salaries of our ministers, $1.8 million. When we look at the salary of their drivers, $360,000. And you do the calculation in US, you'll understand how much their chauffeurs take home. Our teachers, the masses of our teachers don't carry that home. So you understand why teachers are upset.
Yeah. Wow. So you
Very good.
tonight, thank you so much for coming on, Honorable Coretta McDonald. I see you're driving. And
Yes.
tonight they actually have a protest tonight.
Well, our teachers are supposed to be having a peaceful candlelight vigil in front of the residence of the president. And so we are hoping that I'm heading that way because I just came off of a live program. So I'll let you know what's happening as soon as I get there.
Yes, keep us informed because we have our own protest here in Barbados on Saturday, and I think this is going to give us some kind of encouragement. Mr. Franklin, as a trade unionist, the most trusted union in Barbados by the poll, he's happy. I know he's happy to see what's happening in Guyana at this time. Yeah, that they're on the streets and they're holding a prayer vigil in front of the president's home. We can't do that in Barbados at all. We'll be
Oh
locked
Lord.
up.
Well, I figured just now we'll be asked to remove from there, eh? But the teachers are doing what they have to do all across Guyana. And you know what, Marcia? I want our folks in Barbados to understand. 85% of our teachers have decided to withhold their services. So many of our schools are closed across Guyana. And that is driving spikes of the backs of the Minister of Labor, the Minister of Education, the Vice President, and the President. The disrespect in all of this is the fact that one group of workers are placed ahead of another group of workers. Teachers have been just knew we would to get the attention of the government to discuss our proposal. But you know what? They've ignored us for 3+ years. But every year since they came into government, they have been giving monies to the sugar workers. Even though sugar is failing in this country, I know in Barbados you don't plant sugar on that large scale anymore because you recognize sugar is not giving you any profit. But in Guyana, regardless of whether they are receiving a profit or not, they have committed to continue flustering and blustering and grooming and bribing the sugar workers because that's where their voting bloc is.
Yeah. we are so proud of you, Honorable Coretta McDonald, and what you have been doing there in Guyana. We are inspired watching you, and we just want to tell the teachers, hold the line. Let them know we're on the
Thank you.
street on Saturday. Tell them hold the line, and we when you get there, we would love to be able to see them, and you probably hear from a couple of them.
Sure. As long as the police doesn't
Okay.
remove them from there, then you'll see them.
Let's see them. All right. Okay. Thank you so very much. We know you're driving. I don't want to keep you on the phone all this time.
Right. So
Thank
I'm going
you.
to log in again.
Yes. Thank you,
Thank you
ma'am.
so
God
much.
bless.
Bye bye.
Yes. 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 Yes, Mr. Franklin. We are here. Wow.
I noticed
I
you put
can't
up
hear
some
you.
signs. I said I noticed you put up some signs, some of the post placards in Guyana. I saw them there. I sent you a placard. I want mine put up too.
You want your placard up. There's something wrong with my there's an echo. I'm gonna leave and come back. Keep it going, Mr. Franklin. Let me leave and come back, okay?
Yes, okay. You know, the people in Barbados should really take a leaf from the book of the Guyanese people. They're actually standing up for themselves. And that is something that's sadly lacking in this country. We have too many people in Barbados who are crying out. They are crying out, but they do not want to get involved because they don't want to be victimized. Trust me when I say to you that they cannot victimize all of you. And when you stick together, when you stick together, they you can't break you. Remember that. However, we somehow set up these McGuffies. That's all they call them, McGuffies, and all of a sudden, they're just ordinary people like me and you. And then we make them MPs. We make them MPs. And they come around and say, we are your servants. We want to serve you. But that is only during the election period. We have to sit down and let them know, or stand up and let them know, that when we speak, they must listen. Because we hire them. I hope you still hear me, Mr. Paris. You hear me now? And we hire them. We give them the power, and we can take it from them. We abhor the arrogance of the people who we have elected. They care nothing about what we do or what we say. And you see that arrogance in not one or two. It's every time one of them speak, the arrogance comes through like it is second nature to them, or probably even first nature. They just don't know how to behave. They don't know how to be respectful of the people of this country. And we have to show them. We have to show
Yes.
them that time that we will not stand for this behavior anymore.
Yes.
Good night, Kemar.
All right, good night, Caswell. Rose, is that Rose?
Somebody said my
Okay,
voice is
they're
low. You
saying
hear
that
me,
we are
Marcia?
echoing.
Hello.
You hear me? Because somebody said my voice is low.
Oh,
But let me just go out and come back and see what
right.
happens. All right?
Okay, let me speak and see what's happening. Okay, so I'm not echoing anymore. Good night, Mrs. Corbin. Can you hear me?
Yes, please. Good evening, everyone.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful, and I can hear you well. And we have tonight we're going down the road like this really, really quickly. And I know that you have something that you want to share with us on the cyber bill. We do have Mr. Glenn Griffith that is going to be coming on, but we're going to hold him back for another 25 minutes or so, and to let you go at it. If you're not finished, you come back on Friday, right? So we're gonna let you jump in. I know Kemar hasn't said anything yet, but he normally comes in on a little later. So and he's off. right at the moment. I'm not seeing him on. Caswell is back,
You hear me
right?
now? You hear me
Yes,
now?
we're here.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
good,
definitely.
good. Hi,
Definitely,
Rose. Good
definitely.
night. It's good to see you.
Hi, Caswell. How are you?
I'm still wonderful. At least I think so.
I don't
Yeah,
argue with that one.
yeah. Well, let go right ahead, Mrs. Corbin. You touched my heart today. We won't talk much about that part today, but you go ahead and make your presentation. 25 minutes tonight, and then if anything, we come back. Okay.
Yes, I'll go quickly on this one. Good evening, everyone. Um, those who are online, thank you again for this opportunity. Um, I'm going to speak as quickly as I can, and I hope as succinctly as I can, on this latest imposition by the government on the people of Barbados, the Barbadian public, those who reside and live here, do business here, born here, uh, transitioned here, and just love this country. And I was wondering, Marcia and Caswell, after hearing the news that the bill was sent to the Senate yesterday, um, is it too late? But I'm saying it isn't. When the Philistines thought they had the battle all wrapped up with their Goliath, there was a David who came on the scene. Your Dave, Marcia, who came on the scene and told, let them know that the show has just begun and ended on the same day. And Caswell, I want to tickle us with this one, but lawsuits are on their way. Lawsuits are on the way, according to a certain MP um, who whose actions and receipt of a certain check issued in her name uh, has given notification that the letter going come and dropping their tails. Well, I don't have a tail. I don't know if you have one, Caswell or Kemar or Marcia.
That is why I keep snow.
Huh?
Got in the tail. I said that's why I keep snow.
But they're saying that individual, as usual, using that kind of platform, and again acknowledging that there was no wrongdoing and that they have received the support of the prime minister in the wrongdoing. And so business is as usual, that the lawsuits coming and the letter going come and dropping their tails. So I'm just letting us know that as far as I know, we on this show don't have tails. And they say the higher the monkey goes, the more of the tail is seen. So we are monkeys, and therefore we are not in that category, and we will not be intimidated. I was sharing with someone that the bill has been produced, and already they are enforcing the muzzling and the stifling already with that kind of robust language to intimidate. And I noticed from, if it's anything to go by, the article by Barbados today, that the AG said here in this article that amid criticisms that the bill could curtail fundamental rights, Marshall insisted that the Mayor Motley administration must strike a balance between rights and responsibility. And then he went on to say, much of what has been said revolves around the notion that this government is seeking to place a statutory fetter or muzzle on the freedom of speech of Barbadians. And I believe that comes from the fact that there has been verbal response to this cybercrime bill. Caswell and Kemar and the others who are listening, Marcia, I do understand the need to protect citizens from harm and danger imposed on them by others. It's a responsibility of governments who are elected to ensure that safety and security of its citizens are recognized and adhered to. Hence, we have law and order. Hence, we have law enforcement agencies. Hence, we have legislation that caters for the maintenance and the protection of its citizens and safety and security of its citizens. And if we subscribe to Maslow sees safety and security as one of the major broad-based needs of human needs that we have. So straight off, one does not condemn or knock any government that seeks to ensure that safety and security. It's their responsibility. We vote for it, and successive governments should ensure that. However, when there's that infringement of human rights through this robust language expressed in the bill, one has to take note. And I've been reading, I'm not an expert like you, Kemar, but I want to be informed. And hence, I did my research, and I want the public there, those who are listening, to respond from an informed position. We must read. There's so much material that Marseille almost told you, let me come on Friday night. But I had to discipline myself. It is the haste with which this bill progressed. The first reading in the House of Assembly was on the 5th of December, 2023. And you notice Caswell again, and Marcy and Kemar and all the others, they look for times and seasons when persons are engaged in other activity. So we had independence. We had all the fun and dance of independence. And we know that Christmas is coming and persons are on a daily basis in a good time. Persons are not taken in with what's happening in the House of Assembly, far less around that festive season. And again, they push this through with such haste. And where is it coming from? When we talk about cybercrime, what are we talking about? And I pulled a definition on what is cybercrime so that we who are listening will know what we mean by cybercrime. And a very simple definition: cybercrime encompasses a wide range of criminal activities that are carried out using digital devices and or networks. These crimes involve the use of technology to commit fraud, identity theft, data breaches, computer viruses, scams, and expanded upon in other malicious acts. That is from Wikipedia. So it is a crime using technology. It's a crime using the internet. And again, I found no challenge with the areas identified. And these are the same categories with a few more from the Computer Misuse Act. And we who are listening would say, look, there's nothing wrong with these areas identified: modification of program or data, interfere with program or data, interfere with computer system.
Miss Corbin, may I just excuse you, interrupt you, sorry, a little bit. There's someone live, and this is Guyana live, but we're going to come right back to you. Can you just hold that thought there? And
yes,
I think
please.
because she's using her data. So I just want to make sure that we can grab her while we can, right? But you hold the thought right there.
Yes.
So guys, what we're going to do, we're just going to take a look at what's happening in Guyana, our sister country, as they're protesting there, even tonight. And so let me just add CORETTA, Honorable CORETTA.
Hi, good night. We're here on Main Street, and we just moved from in front of the president's residence, and we are here now heading to the prime minister's residence. So we are going to be standing there with our candles all lit, parents, and some teachers are out here.
Wow,
and we're having a silent protest.
So it's a silent protest at night in Guyana. The Guyana teachers are protesting. They were protesting in the day now for a couple of days, and they turn up at night. So you see Barbados, look at it. Wow, all the candles, silent protest. They went to the president's residence, and they're walking to the prime minister's residence right now.
So this is what we do. Our teachers mean business. If the government could talk to other unions, they can talk to us.
And what is it the teachers want? In what exactly do the teachers want?
The teachers would have submitted, the teachers union, as a matter of fact, would have submitted a proposal, and that proposal spans 5 years. So it's a 20%, 25% for 1 year, and that's just a proposal. 25 1 year and 20 for the 4 remaining years. And so we are waiting for the government to seriously decide to talk with us, but that is not happening.
Wow, wow, wow. Now in Barbados, Mr. Franklyn, the president's residence and the prime minister's residence and all anything that's related to government. 200 meters, 200 yards. Right? We can do this in Barbados, could be Mr. Franklyn.
So these are our teachers and our parents.
Yes. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Honorable?
We're hearing you loud and clear.
Well, you let them know. Let me see if our audience is hearing. Are you hearing Sonia, Kemar? Can you hear Honorable CORETTA? Are you hearing?
And so if you look at the background there, I'm not sure how you're gonna see it because there are lights there. That's in front of the prime minister's residence.
Wow. Okay.
And so, of course, you have the police there. They're walking to and fro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're hearing. Okay, it's just the presenters not hearing. Oh wow, awesome, 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 awesome. Can we? Oh, so the teachers are from all different schools, right?
Yes, these are teachers from all levels of schools, and they spread across primarily the capital city and its environs.
Yeah, yeah. And about how, I mean, it's night there. It's night. About how many persons are there?
We have about what, 50%? Okay. About 50 teachers we have here.
About 50 teachers there tonight. And in the day, what are your numbers? I know you are in different regions. You are
Well,
protesting in different regions.
during the day, our numbers in Georgetown would range between 3 to 700 during the day, and that has been building up over the last day or so. That has built up, and our teachers are spread all across Guyana. So in every region, we have teachers out there. As a matter of fact, our percentage has raised now to 85% of teachers being out of school. So you could understand what's happening in our school system.
Wow, wow. Here in Barbados, I was told that Lester Vaughan School today that they there's a school here called Lester Vaughan and that they closed half day. And I'm not sure as yet what the issues are. Probably Mr. Franklyn will be able to fill us in on that when we start back. We've been having some issues here in the schools in Barbados.
If
But
if
I
you
would
if
love to
you
hear
if you
teachers.
if you notice, we have the police there following us, so they're parked right over there
Yes.
on the roadways. They have two vehicles that are monitoring us.
Yes, yes. So let me ask you, when you do your protests in Guyana, I know we have to let you go soon because you're on your data and we have to continue the show. But let me ask you, when you go to protest in Guyana, do you have to apply for a permit?
Well, this is a site. This is we're assembling at one point. If we were to march, then we would have had to. If we were going to march, then we would have had to.
Okay, she's stuck. She's stuck.
No,
So she,
but we just got knocked off. We're coming back in. Don't worry.
yes.
So if
Okay,
we
I can
were
hear you.
to if we were to march, then we would need to seek permission if we were to march. But since
Okay, we're having some challenges there. Well, thank you so much. We're having some challenges there. Must have been because of we're on data. But thank you. Oh, she's put in another. Hi, Honorable Coretta.
yes, we're hearing you loud and clear.
Yeah, so what I was saying is that we're having some challenges with the technical, but I think we are able to see what's going on, and we want to send encouragement to our sister Guyana. I'm sorry that the other hosts are not able to speak. There seemed to be something with their microphones. But we want to send encouragement to you there in Guyana to keep up what you're doing. And we will send you some pictures and videos as well of us here in Barbados.
Thank you so thank you so much. And the struggle continues here in Guyana with our teachers, and we are even more resolute at this time.
Yes, keep it up. And we are looking on and you're inspiring us. The people say time for Bajans to follow the Guyanese and take action in shutting down this country until this corrupt government is removed from parliament. So we're taking notes. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Have a good night.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, let's see if we can hear each other again. I believe every time she comes in, it interrupts something. Can you hear me, Kemar? Okay, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Let's jump back right in with our wonderful guests, and any comments that we have about the Guyanese issue, we will hold that till the end. So let's jump in with Miss Corbin, and then over. Yes, go right ahead, Miss Corbin. Okay, is she muted? Okay, you're muted. You're muted, Miss Corbin.
Yes, please. I'm back
Yes.
on. Good going, Guyana, and we know that we can do the same when the opportunity comes. We can, and we will. And I am back here looking at the prohibited conduct. And I was looking at, there are 18 of them identified in the bill. Modification of program or data, interfere with program or data, interfere with computer system, illegal interception of data, misuse of devices, access with intent to commit further offense, disclosure of access code, critical information infrastructure system, receiving or giving of access to computer program or data, computer-related forgery, computer-related fraud, child pornography, child grooming, online child sexual abuse, malicious communication, cyberbullying, cyber terrorism, aiding or abetting. And they say on the surface, good prohibited areas that should be prohibited, and there should be oversight on the legislation to protect person, property, community, businesses, and territory, the territory. But I do have concern that how will this bill be used when it becomes an act? Who will it protect? When we come to look at also how they will implement an act on these areas identified if and when violated, and we recognize that within the lower house, as well as in the Senate, where there is government representation, there are the chief violators of these areas. They might not use their devices to do so, but their very speech, their robust speech, their intimidating speech, again, pelted in the tails, a lawsuit in the tails, being told that we are irritants by the very one, and I'm so disappointed with her, irritants by the very one who presented the bill. And therefore, we should have concern about the implementation and the various responses associated with these areas. Now, you may be telling me back out there, and I could say too, that it doesn't concern me. I'm not all that device techno savvy. I don't use my device to do these things. I scarcely take a selfie, far less take a picture of someone that's in a compromising position. I'm not a blogger. I'm not given to setting up my camera and my video and turning on my mic and speaking out. I'm not given to that. So some persons out there like myself will say, it doesn't concern me. Those 18 categories don't concern me. Yes, they do. If some of us have young people around us who are not informed on this cybercrime bill to become an act, and they misuse innocently, not deliberately, some might do it deliberately, but unaware, uninformed, uneducated about it. The police can come and break down your door. The police can come and seize that device in your house. You can be intimidated by the restraining law that has been imposed and order. So do not sit and say it does not concern me. I'm not into child pornography. I am not into child grooming. I am not given to malicious communication. And I tell you from a personal experience, last year was frustrated, upset with someone, with two persons. And I wrote a message on my WhatsApp, and I was going to keep it on my WhatsApp. And, editor had deleted, sent it to me, email it to me. And not being techno savvy, I forwarded it to one of the persons. Oh, I agonized. My language was robust. It was certainly not in keeping with my psyche, but I was stressed out. Now, that could have been seen as otherwise as a cyber crime. And I apologized. I sent both parties, the party to whom it was sent had the other name mentioned, an apology, a card, but I know it has fractured the relationship. And therefore, I'm saying that these things can happen inadvertently on the spur of the moment.
Yes.
And this kind and it can easily be brought on the malicious communication, causing pain. I know he hurt those persons, causing pain and trauma. The language is so subjective, but yet restrictive, yet I keep saying robust and intimidating. Now, where does this come from quickly, Marcia? I know my time is up.
Yes, we
This
have about
is,
5 minutes
yes,
tonight,
this
and then
isn't a
tomorrow you will
big,
have more.
this isn't a big brain thing from the heads of this government. We are following pattern. This has come out since 2001 out of something called the Budapest. If you listen to the Attorney General's comments today, it has come out of a convention called the Budapest Convention, signed on by Canada, Japan, USA, and South Africa in 2001, the 23rd of November. And it is the precursor, that was the precursor to this UN treaty. I do not know why Barbados is so quick to follow pattern and take on these big and commit themselves, and commit not themselves, but the people of Barbados to these onerous, burdensome treaties without study. Now, the AG is saying that they had consultants who came in from the Council of Europe, the Budapest Convention consultants who crafted that convention, which is the precursor to this UN treaty. Now, this happened, the UN met in August, September for about 2 weeks, going over what they call a zero draft. Now, a zero draft is really a document, a first attempt to assemble thoughts on a topic, more or less unstructured piece of writing, and it represents the starting point of the treaty. Even so, the UN has not reached consensus on this cyber crime treaty, but we can hasten the bill
Mm-hmm.
through and to the Senate, and the UN has not reached consensus. It's 170 something members. If you go on that audience
Yeah.
and read, you would see that the Human Rights Watch organization, they have come out and say it is flawed, it is a backward step, it is a suppression of expression of speech. It, in a sense, for me, as a study, you are giving away the sovereignty of your territory and your people's sovereignty when you sign on to this cyber crime treaty. It is being propelled by the UN, but like all the other things that we have signed on to, like the Samoa Convention, all of those conventions we are hastening. Education reform is in response to UNESCO's demand to satisfy the sustainable development goals. This rush to satisfy UN and other agencies. What happened also, Marcia and Caswell and audience, these consultants were in Barbados. That is when you went out there, because I didn't get my vote in 2018. I faced the electorate to make sure that the electorate was educated and not going blindly into election. 75% of the voters give their vote to this administration to do this to us. You went back a second time to do this to us. And they are pushing and making these impositions. And the Attorney General is saying boastfully that the other jurisdictions in the Caribbean would be envious. We have an enviable document now on cybercrime. The consultants advice. The consultants from the Council of Europe, Budapest Convention, and the UN, they give money to ensure that the various participating territories are funded to make these legislative changes, just like education reform. UNESCO, UN, they are funding education reform through legislative changes and framework. So when this is rushed through, this has nothing, even the Human Rights Watch, the International Human Rights Watch, and other civil society groups, they are seeing that the language in this zero draft is just borrowed language from the Budapest Convention, and it does not have any originality. It does not represent any careful thought. It does not take into consideration human rights, the violation of human rights through these various articles and sections of this treaty that we're signing on to. And what I have noticed, and I don't have enough time, didn't have enough time, but I'm wondering if we superimpose our own bill onto the zero draft.
Right.
If we would not see a mimicking, it won't be a mimicking now, because mimic is when you imitate a physical behavior. If it would not be an echoing or reiterating of what is said there, if it isn't a copy and paste. So don't let those MPs in the House of Parliament, through the MP who is responsible for pushing the bill through so quickly, when the people were asleep. when the people, they continue to do this to us. And Caswell, you know what I'm talking about. I told my husband this afternoon, if my grandparents and my mother, who passed yesterday, 11 years ago, if those parents, my family, could see me now, they would say, not my Rosie. But I have to speak out because now we are reaching the point where the very expression now, we have to be so careful that fora like these, occasions like these, interaction like these could be misrepresented as malicious communication. But I hope that this administration realizes this isn't only a religious thing, and the churches, you've had representatives from two churches here, or two faith-based organizations here, Christian organizations. This isn't a church thing. I hope they know that the people with the letters starting with L down to Q and I and all the other letters that they put on have been very vocal and were part of the pressure groups at the UN from civil society saying this cannot happen.
Yes.
So it isn't only a church thing, what will happen to the church. And I do hope, and I say respectfully, that the two men of the cloth that have been appointed as spiritual advisors spoke to the government, spoke to the MPs, spoke to the Prime Minister, and said, listen, rethink this. But it has gone through. Maybe I won't go there, but it has gone through with such haste. Why such haste?
Yeah.
Only
And
to only
and
to
that
tell UN, look up, Barbados again is taking the lead. And therefore, the 1 minute I'm wrapping up, therefore, the AG, if I'm to quote Barbados today, the AG is saying Jamaica, Guyana, Trinidad have new legislation on cybercrime. But the consultants have said we have the piece of legislation that other countries must now mirror in order to reach our standard. Is that what it's about? To set it? Yes, I know we set a standard decades ago, pre-independence, post-independence in terms of education and social services. The Moyen Commission started here in Barbados, right, Caswell, looking at what happened in 1937 and instructed the government to bring social services to the masses. We have been leaders, but I cannot buy into this diatribe here that we have a piece of legislation that will be the envy of these other countries. No, it is not a platform on which to predicate, on which to boast and position our country to the disadvantage of the citizens themselves. This
yeah.
does not, I have read it. I read it. It does not represent, and they're saying consultants hired to write the bill. There were consultants. Everything in Barbados is consultant, consultant, consultant.
But not the
Usually,
people. But not
and
consulting
most
the people.
people
Listen,
can,
Miss Corbin, we unfortunately we have so much more. But if you promise me you can come on early tomorrow, because it's an interesting take, Mr. Franklin, on on this whole issue. And I just see if you or Kemar want to make a comment before she goes. Just one comment from Mr. Franklyn and one from Kemar, and then we're going to thank Miss Corbin, and hopefully you can come back tomorrow. Go ahead, Miss.
And I want to thank Kemar for setting the standard so high at which I could make this point of entry. I want to thank him because I was forced then to do my own research and trace it backwards.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Let's hear Mr. Franklyn.
Yes, as usual, Rose is right on point. And but I'm afraid, unless we go out and march on Saturday and in our numbers, they will ignore us. I know I will see Rose. She's always there. Same for that. They're always there on the marches to giving us support, and she's giving us support here. But I am this thing bothering me because somebody sent me an article from the blog that is closed. I don't know, the fellow died. Not Barbados Underground, the other one. And it showed that this was Mayor's intent all the way back then. It mentioned she was in office the last time to shut down people speak the use of the internet. So we have to be careful. And I want more people like Rose to come out and speak. I would step aside and let them speak because I don't want people to think that it is just Caswell and Mars just they're talking. So we want the people to come out.
Yeah. And that's why we want her to come back tomorrow because we have Mr. GLYNE Murray who's prepared, and I hope he's all ready. Because we're going to jump right in. Kemar, is there anything you want to say quickly about to Miss Rose Corbin before we move on?
Well, I just want to say to Rose, thank you for your continued support. Thank you for your contribution tonight as well. As rightfully said, we do not have tails. Tails are for animals. However, on the other hand, some of us are displaying animalistic behaviors. When we want to go after others for standing up for what is right and what is truthful, recognizing that nobody told any lies on anybody or defamed anybody, but they defamed themselves. So I always enjoy listening to Rose's contribution. She lays up some excellent points and she drives them home and gives you something to think about. So I don't know if she will make it on Saturday to the march, but even if she can't make it, I know she's heavily supporting the move to stand up against this dictatorship and this tyranny. So thank you to Rose, and I look forward to working with her as we move forward.
Yes. Thank you, Kemar. Thank you, Ms. Corbin. Very, very excellent. And people are saying thank you. Very informative and very deep. And that's what we have come to know of your presentations. So what we're going to do is hopefully we will chat to see if we can fit us in tomorrow evening, where you will be able to finish up. Okay. Thank you so much, Ms. Corbin.
Thank you for the opportunity again, everyone. Thank you.
God bless. Thank you.
Good night, Rose.
Okay, well, we have Mr. Murray here, and I'm hoping he's in his chair. I know that he was on. Good night, Mr. Murray.
Good day. Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
good. All right, thank you.
Yes.
I was just,
Good night,
I was
sir.
just, good night. Interesting and intriguing beginning of your show. Waiting, I was telling myself, I was beginning to feel like a black belly sheep on a pass to stake out. But while I was waiting, the material was good, it was interesting. So thanks very much for presenting that quality of program. I am going to change gears slightly, a little bit, but still related to what has been happening so far for the night. First of all, I, I'd like to commend Marcia for bringing a, a strange topic to public discussion, namely Barbados' foreign affairs. There's a dearth, there's a lack, almost, there's a dearth, there's a scarcity, almost a drought of meaningful information about our foreign affairs. I'm glad you brought it up tonight when you're talking, uh, when you open the show. But I want to take another angle is that uh, I was hoping for some weeks now, the last 4 weeks since October the 7th, that we would have heard the Barbados government case say something about the whole issue and where we stand in the world relate to that issue. Not much, if any, has been said, but I think we now have an opportunity where we can demand of the government to say something, and that happened yesterday. The news broke internationally that a Barbados registered ship uh, was was um, was attacked by the Houthis in the Middle East, and it's registered in Barbados. It's called uh, Morning Tide. Barbados registered, British owned, but Barbados registered. If you listeners and viewers of the show will remember that what has happened in the Middle East, the group called the Houthis, who are supportive of Hamas, have been attacking shipping in the Red Sea area for as a mark of solidarity for Hamas and the Palestinians, and also to protest the involvement of these other entities, United States, Britain, France, etc., in the battle. So the Barbados ship has been attacked, and that brought Barbados to the fore. I think then, I think then that the government should come out, Minister Kerry Simmons, of whom we don't hear very much locally. He should come and make a statement to the country as to the implications of this attack on the ship. But while the ship is registered in Barbados, Barbados has what is known as a ship registry. It's like an almost offshore business where you ships from about the world register under certain conditions, supervised by the International Maritime Organization and those international agencies. It's quite a legitimate business. I think Panama has they make millions of dollars a year out of registering ships. So Barbados has been doing bit by bit over the years. It has never grown as strongly as had been hoped. But the point is, we have a business, and I'm afraid that Barbados might be concerned that if this ship had been attacked, a Barbados registered ship, they might be wondering, does that mean that we run the risk of Barbados or Barbados' interest area or we have embassies in several places in the world. Would they be considered legitimate targets by these groups who are carrying out these attacks on behalf of other countries or not because of them, these militant activist groups? So I think he should come and set our minds at ease. Some people might not be able to differentiate between a Barbados registered ship that is registered in Barbados under a legal ship registry as against a Barbados owned ship, and they are attacking the owned vessels by these various interests. So I think that's given us an opportunity now for Mr. Simmons to come and say something to the country. Long overdue, and I think it would do us a lot of good if you were to hear that.
Yes.
On the other hand, I don't know if you want to come. Anybody wants to comment on that part before we move on?
Yeah, Mr. Franklyn.
GLYNE, that is cockroach ain't gonna have no right up. They say at full cock dance, and this was bad Barbados right now. We are not supposed to be getting in these people's business. And
But no due respect, Caswell, we're not getting in this. They are attacking a business from which Barbados benefit.
no, I'm saying we're getting about the business because if it was a Barbados registered ship and we were out there, and we were not out there airing our mouths and talking like kind of foolishness, the Barbados ship would sail right past. But
No,
if
but
it's a Barbados registered, a Barbados registered ship will carry a Barbados flag. So they will
But his
know that there's
own,
a Barbados. I know it's owned in England. I know that very well. But I'm saying to you, it will carry a Barbados flag. And when it carries a Barbados flag, it is a target for people who got problems with people in Barbados that talk too much. You remember when Putin, Marcy talked about it earlier, Putin attacked Ukraine, and the Prime Minister here was telling Putin, get out of the thing right now, and she's begging him about the place and stuff. Get out of these things. When Barbados can hold in the corner of some of these countries and nobody will find it. So
we know that. We know that, Caswell. We know that. But the
we are
point is,
not we
I'm
are
saying,
not a significant we are not a significant player in the world in anything. We our prime minister go out there and I like to call it air in our mouth on things that should not attract her. But
but
you have one.
she did not air her mouth on this issue. It's persons coming because of a flight, because of another issue, going for British owned arrested in Barbados.
I
So
understand that.
I
I'm
think we gotta
telling
be
you.
fair. All
No,
right.
I understand that. We had said, well, she had said, she made comments and she didn't condemn Israel when she made the comment. She tried to be even-handed. Then people don't want to be hatch your mouth. You call you make an enemy. Look, you don't understand what I'm trying to say. When she spoke, she tried to be even-handed that time. She didn't order Israel out, and she talking, but she tried to be even-handed.
Oh.
Hamas and Hamas support people that support Hamas and want even-handedness. They want support because Israel is operating the largest open-air prison anywhere in the world. That they are trying to get rid of the Palestinians
But
from the face of the earth, and Hamas want you to say that is wrong, and don't come and try to be even-handed enough. It can't be right. And when you go out there
okay.
and try to be even-handed, you have sided with the enemy. Hush
Okay,
your mouth.
can I jump back and say that all those nuances, all those situations, all those possibilities are things I hope that Minister Simmons will be able to present to the country when he should speak on this whole question of the attack on the Barbados registered ship. All
If he
right.
gets permission, if he gets permission.
All right. If I might move on, if we move on, I'd like to say also that I see this whole question of the discussion, the public. It's not even a controversy. It's a healthy, necessary public discussion over the cybersecurity bill. I see it from a different context. I see it as a repudiation of a policy, of a concept and a policy and approach which was started. Caswell, I'm sure you remember this. After 76, Tom Adams instituted and proposed what is known as open government. And it was more, except now we have brought up in an era since 2018 of transparency and accountability, which have turned out to be largely labels and slogans, electioneer slogans. But Tom Adams' idea of open government was that first of all, he proposed to involve the opposition DLP. He proposed that he's going to increase the size of the Senate by 2 to give them a seat in the Senate. And the DLP thought that was a trick. He said he would invite them to put a member of the party on statutory boards. That was also rejected. Or they had rejected the 2 additional senators on the question of cost. But at that time, cost was, I think a senator got about $600 a month. So that would not welcome back Barbados. But we deal with the principle. And he proposed with the like I said, the statutory boards and whatnot. But apart from that, he, in the House of Assembly, when he was so confident of his team and the quality of his programs and the quality of his team, that he proposed to the leader of the opposition, I think that was Frederick Smith then, that
yes,
for the estimates, the opposition would give him 24 hours of the heads they want to debate next day. Right now, under the present system, a government could talk. I think the estimates last about 5 days in the House. They could talk for 3 days on agriculture or sugar or tourism and do not give people opportunity to to deal with more important or sensitive or troublesome issues. They can hide the debate. Tom said, "But give me 20." Mr. Tom Adams said, Prime Minister, I said, "Give me 24 hours what you want to talk about, I will talk about." But that was his concept and his approach to open government. In addition to that, that will be meshed with the use of a British tradition. And it's a tradition which has survived in the Commonwealth, in the United States, in Canada, not so often in the European Union, where when you have issues, you present a green paper.
Mm-hmm. Hello? Can you hear him, Mr. Franklyn?
No, he's dropped out.
Okay, Mr. Murray, I'm not sure if you can hear us, but we can't hear you. You might have to go out and come back in.
He's coming back. Well, he's attempted to come back.
Yes. Hello?
I'm back there now.
Yeah,
Yes.
You hear me now?
the last thing you said was the present a green paper. I'm ready to hear anything after that.
Okay, I was about a green paper. A green paper is a document which meant it was meant to it would contain information about possible new law or changes that the government proposed to do. It was a rough draft, a very rough draft, which would go to just to test the waters and the public react to, and then after that, that would be followed by a white paper,
Mm-hmm.
which have more detailed, more specified content as to what exactly a white paper is. Would that be the official set of proposals by the government to be used as a vehicle for the development of the law to be proposed? So we had, those were standard things. This were directly done in Barbados. I think, as a matter of fact, I heard Minister Cummings in the Senate yesterday saying that she's proposing some new energy policy, and she said that there would have been a white paper. There would be a white paper. She said there would be a one coming soon for that. But the point is that it has been why something as fundamental as dealing with the fundamental issues of freedom of speech and communication and water, dealing with cybersecurity. But why would the government have let it lie fallow on the books since December? There was no public discussion. There was no indication. In addition to providing white papers and green papers, which you can buy from the government printer, so you can see in detail what was being proposed and discussed and considered, what was being given to the public. Those documents would be used in the past used to be available for public scrutiny in print, tangibly. Now everything is supposed to go online, and I suspect that is what they were committing so many documents, so many important documents to online formula is to discourage as many people as possible want to get to the meat of the information for themselves. Because most people cannot control. I like paper because I can make my notes, I can dog there. I can follow it better than I can do online. But I am not able to manipulate all the technology on the line to make a note or whatever. So I'm the average kind of person. I think that used to foster a very robust debate in Barbados because you had easy access willingly to government. But that also makes me remember a couple of years ago when I was having a discussion on air with Mr. Advisor Prasad. I never called him professor. I never thought he was a real professor. So I always called it Advisor Prasad. And I think I was proven right because when we first heard of him, they went online and read his CV. It was too detailed. It was one of the longest CV I'd ever seen online for anybody in the world. It had even the number of letters he wrote to newspapers and. I mean, I thought this was too much, too good. So I was always a bit skeptical about him. So therefore, he said when it was an issue. Caswell, you probably I remember this. This is when the issue of the two pensions, when the government was accused of taking away a person might have had a pension from the Treasury and one from NIS, and at some point when they merge, one will go. But the way this is being done, there was no prior discussion. There was no, I mean, it was a reflection on the condemnation of the trade unions, but there was no prior discussion and letting the public, the person who these things would affect, as to what was being proposed and the reasons for it to justify it. And they said to Mr. Advisor Persson, why do you consistently, why does the government consistently not treat these things properly, give you pre-warning and prior information, and itself generates unnecessary controversy and stress and tension, which you then have to deal with. He said, well, we decide what we would discuss and we ignore the rest. And it has turned out, I thought he was just being flippant, but it turned out to be a fact. There have been repeated time after time after time where important issues, meaning the republic, all kind of major
national
issues,
insurance amendments,
right? Where they have
pension legislation, all of these things.
Yeah, you can list them out from
the same Prevention of Corruption Act that was passed in 2021. You know, the other one that they debated when they walk up the house that day. You know, they just did do all these things on the sly. It is deliberate, you know, and what they have done, you know, GLYNE, well, you were a member of the Senate and a minister, and you know very well that before a bill is debated, it is published in the official gazette and circulated so that people will know what the government intends to do for you. What these people do now, what they do now is to pass the bill and then put in the official gazette that this is what the government intends to do for you that we have already done. So it comes out in the official gazette after, so you cannot now discuss it as a bill because the bill was passed in one day. So when you get notice of it, it's supposed to get notice, go to the printery and be printed and send out the official gazette. It's not print, well, it's not published in the official gazette because they don't print anymore now because the printery don't even have paper. Even toilet paper, people that might bring their own.
I think that is part of that deliberate plan to shut down the printery, because there was a definite plan to shut down the printery. And that's one way of making it irrelevant, like they seek to do with government information service, which is part of a different discussion and whatnot. But the point is, when they were printed papers, or the papers detailing what is coming to the house, 3 or 4 days before they went to the house, we circulated newspapers. And the newspapers would go through and get ideas about being discussed, rewrite them, get comments, so the public, you know, was stimulated about the discussion. Now, what they sought to do last Tuesday in the House, and what they did this Tuesday, yesterday, with Minister Attorney General Marshall, should have been there at the beginning. All that discussion should be presented to the public, let them dissect it, agree with it, because they're all part of democracy, all part of the alleged transparency and accountability that was supposed to be given. And I'm tired of hearing this government talk about making reference to these international organizations and bodies that they rely upon to draft bills and whatnot. Caswell knows about this because he worked in the Attorney General's office. We have the Solicitor General's office, which does the draft. Now, drafting a bill is a highly technical, specialized, and some people say boring. That's why not too many people go in that field. It's very dull. It's not sexy like going to court, etc. It's dealing with words and paper, etc. But it's a highly specialized, highly desirable, highly lucrative undertaking. There are not too many left in Barbados. I know in the past that some of that drafting has been outsourced in Barbados to other agencies to do the raw drafting. But even when the raw drafting is done, they still have to go through the process of the Attorney General, where we take everything said, and that organization would rewrite it in its own language, its own way, specialized way, to make sense, and it would become compatible with the requirements of Barbados and whatnot. And I was complaining to my son that this bill sounds like it was written by an outsider. And lo and behold, I said it was the European Union that did it, right? That the European Union is good for Europe, but the European Union does not understand the nuances of the Barbados language of the Barbados mentality, the Barbados persona, or values, or sensitivities. And therefore, that what part of the reason why why that bill is so offensive is the language chosen. That might sit very well. The language used might sit very well in Europe or European countries. But Barbados is different. The language is not the language of the bill is not culturally sensitive and specific and relegated to Barbados. It is. I was just picked up. That is why that triggered the offensive. I couldn't believe some of the words when I believed it. I thought I was dreaming. I'd never seen such language in a piece of legislation that originated in Barbados. And to hear them relying so heavily on the European Union and referring to the convention, etc., and then to dismiss out of hand Neil Harper, who's been fighting for months on this issue, has been informing Barbadians in different forms of fashion. And to say that they have, based on the conversation, the exchange that went on between him and Minister Cattle, she was saying, well, Harper, they're very patronizing, trying to, pacify him, or she couldn't conquer his argument. So he said, well, we would talk again, we'll talk some more. And let's not quarrel over what we agreed on. And he said, I don't think we agree on anything at all. I listened to that very carefully. But her whole attitude was condescending. It was not so much. Here is a Barbadian who is internationally renowned, who has worked all over the world on these such matters, and you can't find time. What have you got from the European Union, from the European group that came down here with their own values? It is to their advantage. They were not doing us any favors. Just like the IMF did not do any favor by having Kevin Greenwich situated in Barbados for a year or so before the government brought its measures with the BERT program, etc. It is the interest of these organizations to sell their personnel who know their policies, who speak their language, who can.
He's stuck again. I guess he will go out and come back in. If Dave could let him know that's something, if we're not hearing him, if I don't know if he's hearing us. But what Mr. Maury is saying, I don't know. Let's bring in Kemar here. Kemar, are you listening? I don't know if he was able to hear what Mr. Maury is saying, that the bill has not. It's not.
Hi, I'm back in now.
You're back. Okay, continue, please.
I don't understand why it's broken up, but I'll have to look at that for next time. Yeah, how much did you hear of me what I last said? Hello?
You're muted, Caswell. We can't hear you. Oh, yeah. No.
Okay.
No, Glenn, you was talking about people coming from overseas and drafting things for us.
Right. Right. And we are paying the price for, and I feel insulted. That might have been all right for some people at the time when we were when we were a constitutional monarchy. I think we had any due reverence to the British and the old colonial system and practices. But we are not supposed to be a republic. We are on our own, working for ourselves, doing things for ourselves. Why do we? When every week, for Barbados has a parliament that dates back to 1639. And from my understanding, all that time Barbadians have been even during the colonial days, Barbadian legislators that were involved in the process. And then I do not know how old the Solicitor General's office is, but it has been around for a very long time before he was born, right? I suspect. But so it has a track record of doing very good work. I know sometimes government has let some of our personnel down the islands to help them draft it. So why should we have to rely on a European situation and European personnel to draft for us? So I think that Barbadians have a great reason to be offended, and I think it's a slap in the face again to Barbadians to do it first and then complain, then try to sell the idea to you afterwards. They did not do that in 2018 or 2022. They spent weeks and months and hundreds of millions of dollars convincing Barbados that they were the right team for Barbados. the same effort should be made. But there's a concept known in political science, the tyranny of the majority. The tyranny of the majority, right? You can look at it. It is roughly saying that even though a majority has been elected constitutionally and legally and democratically, that very same legitimately elected majority can then turn on the rest of the society and govern to their own advantage, to meet their own ends, their own objectives, their own cliques and clacks, etc. And so what an institution that should be pleasing and looking after the interests of majority, to then begin to suppress the majority and look after its own narrow self-interest. I think we are seeing that now as a result of these 230 levels. They think that they have some special God-given divine right, almost divine right, to be rulers of Barbados, without taking into consideration the means by which they got there. But I know from my experience and readings, etc., is that I think they seem to be tone deaf. They don't seem to be clued in yet to these feelings of Barbados. Last week I mentioned Thanatos, a death wish. Again, they come back and have another death wish. They're deliberately not spending time cultivating the feelings, the sensibility, the desires of the people. They cannot assume that because they got 230 loves, they know what is best for Barbados, better than Barbadians themselves. Cannot, impossible. I don't think there's any family in Barbados. I know there's certainly no village, no gap, which doesn't have someone who went to university, community college, Harrison College, etc. We're educated people, and people you talk to their friends, their family, and discuss ideas. They get what they don't know, they learn from their peers, etc. And therefore, I think they're doing Barbados and bring enough unnecessary stress on Barbados and Barbadian psyche, because it has bred what they don't understand. I heard language being used talk about anarchists and those kind of offensive language. The point is, what they don't understand, that public opinion is like when you buy a brand new car. As soon as you drive it to the showroom, on the road, the value has depreciated. So you get elected with 30, with whatever percentage you vote, but as soon as you start to govern, and the more mistakes you make, it belongs to like a block of ice. It gets lesser and lesser. It's away and melts away and melts. And they do not take that into consideration. So therefore, I would encourage Barbadians to do whatever they can to let their voices be heard. But it's supposed to go now to the Senate next week, next Wednesday. It has been passed. Are you still hearing me?
Yes,
Hello?
we're here.
Yes, we are here.
Yeah. It has been passed in the House yesterday, and it's supposed to go to the Senate for next Wednesday. I think that given what has been demonstrated in Barbados, I never thought I'd live to see a Barbadian populace at all levels demonstrate such mistrust and distrust of a popularly elected government. What they're seeing and feeling and hearing is not anybody being anarchist. Is that the people don't trust them like they used to. They're not sure what they're doing. They're not sure of their bona fides and their intention, their motivation, and therefore they have a right to protest. And they need to do something about it. We need to help them get to that point where they do something about it. It's not too late for them to stall the don't carry the bill to the Senate for next Wednesday. But they produce a white paper. Let people have the kind of consultations that you're having when St. Thomas speaks, or they bring it to the public. Not only bring to the public like that, because this is what has happened. This is what has stymied, what has halted and retarded the so-called education reform program. People on committees to contribute to discussion were invited to commit. They did not get an agenda, terms of reference. No prior education material come from it. Haven't had a number of years, about 2 years before a director of education reform, who produced reports and did work. That information should have gone, some of that should have been distilled, consolidated, and given to the public to let the public know on what basis, whatever recommendations are coming at this stage should come. But instead, you produce a lot of glitzy, glamoury uh, leaflets as a finished product, which all it has done is put money into the hands of the people who produce it. I know when it's all the study, you know exactly who produce it. But they've been producing for the leadership for years with more money. If you're tentative, you just need some black and white paper to give you rough ideas. But you go for color, all kind of designs and craft, all that is cost. That is taxpayers' money. Some of that could be used, could be saved, spent on schools that are having such consistently their situation with the environment and mold and whatnot. But Barbados is sad. Education, health, roads, transport, all the issues that we took for granted. Housing, don't talk about housing. We have come to a virtual standstill. Rather than improving, as there's an old lady in Spoonersville used to tell you, when you do something and you feel well done, she said, you improve worse. Improve worse. Understand? They're doing, they're improving worse. And I'll take a pause to know and let the others have a say, maybe jump back in on some other point also.
Yes, yes. No, very thought provoking. Mr. Murray. And thank you for that process of the green paper, the white paper, and and the fact that they are doing a lot of things. And Caswell has been saying it for a while now, where they're not following the correct procedure, and Miss McLean as well, not following the correct procedure. And the three of you would know that something is off with that.
If I may jump in here again, now you mentioned Miss McLean. And I would love at some point some show Miss McLean and I, and probably Caswell, who's worked in government a lot at all levels, to sit down and debate the function of government, the function of the service, how it used to be, the standards, the standards and whatnot, which no longer apply to that. When I saw haven't been, you get, as a minister, you get the cabinet paper a day or so before cabinet meets. You don't normally on Thursdays, but you understand the problem that you have meetings almost any day of the week. That people have complained to friends of mine that they plan to meet somebody on a Wednesday or a Thursday, or outside of Thursday, they meet somebody on Monday, and then they get a call, we want a cabinet meeting at this short notice, and they have to drop all their arranged cancel meetings to attend these ad hoc cabinet for generations had been held on Thursday as a tradition, unless something extraordinary that was cabinet day. Now it's held all over the place. But we used to get that, and you go through the written documents. And when it got to, and I'm not going to say anything that would betray any so-called secrets. So there's no secret. There's public buildings. And when I heard the truth was that, except for something dealing with security, virtually anything that we discussed could be told to the public. So don't let anybody get hot in the britches and feel like, oh, you're betraying the cabinet secret. There's no secret. The point is that we sit down, we discuss it. But even before that, Caswell, there's a cabinet papers have been prepared by senior people in the civil service, in the ministry, right? And you'll probably get a AO, a senior, or an AO one or two,
admin officer, one or two,
right? And they prepare the draft. If they'll go to a senior admin officer, and then probably go to the deputy PS or the PS, and eventually the draft will go to the minister, and it will present it to the cabinet secretary or the prime minister, and the cabinet secretary determine when an actual paper will be presented to cabinet. But they will go through, if it's deficient, it'll be sent back for corrections, for further action. So by the time they get to cabinet, it should be in a way where you can have proper and fruitful discussions on it. It should not, some of the contents and the language in that bill is so obviously wrong and offensive. I wondered if anybody read it. Or maybe they told him, man, no need to relate, come from the European Union and complex with the convention, they don't need to relate. No, we used to be encouraged to read everything. I know my Nathan used to read everything. As a matter of fact, even where the law is concerned, he was a well-known and trained economist. He would at times correct some of the lawyers because he was not a lawyer, but he had a keen mind. He could think logically and clearly, and he knew when something that was not going right. And he used to challenge them and make them correct and send them back for that very same thing. So I'm surprised that even with the prime minister being a qualified law in the United Kingdom, that the sloppiness of the legislation, and Caswell knows that better. And he's chronicled them and enumerated time and time and all kind of. It dispirits you to feel that Barbados is going backwards. So I'm saying we can do better. We know how to do better. Why is it that we are not being allowed to do better? What is the rush? What is the rush? Are we trying to make agreements on promises given out to outside agencies or governments? What's the rush?
Yeah.
All right.
And I think
GLYNE,
go ahead and let's hear from Kemar.
GLYNE, I must correct you on one thing.
Okay.
You said that the Prime Minister is a qualified lawyer in the United Kingdom. That has never been the case. That is what was reported in Barbados. And that is the basis on which she was admitted to the bar because she was a lawyer in England so she could register in Barbados. But the bar council and the email is saying, I have checked all records and confirmed that Mayor Amor Motley was called to the bar in July 1987 by Middle Temple. They are currently on our records as an unregistered barrister, which means they do not hold a practicing certificate. Our records show that Ms. Motley has never held a practicing certificate as a barrister of England and Wales. So I don't mind they're saying that she is a lawyer in England. She never was.
She passed exams and she did not go what is known in the Anglicism as pupillage.
As pupillage, and that's a
Pupillage, right?
compulsory part. That is a compulsory part of the legal system in England. They call them the sixes, 6 months, and working with the lawyer, and then 6 months doing court work with a senior lawyer,
But
and
but
that
the fact
has never
the
happened.
but the fact that she has been admitted to the bar in Barbados under our systems, I have to assume that she would have met some criteria to that effect.
Right.
Yeah,
So
but I can tell you
no,
that
I
they
don't
met
want
some
to.
criteria. There was an affidavit sworn to the court that says that yes, she has, but that affidavit that was sworn to the court, but whoever swore it did not faithfully report what happened in England.
All right,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Let's
aside,
focus on the issue. Yeah, yeah.
That
All
is
right.
that is an issue. That is why
yeah,
we get such bad legislation.
and the way it is. Let me hear from Kemar. Kemar, we're gonna go on a little, if you guys would allow, a little extra tonight, because we had Diana and Miss Rose, and it's a lot. It's quite exciting, but took up a lot of our a lot of the time. But it's all good. Kemar, I'm not sure if you were there present to hear some of what Mr. Murray was speaking of tonight, and if you have any comments on that.
Well, Glenn always offer, Glenn Murray always offers a good perspective on politics and his analysis from having serving in government and serving with ONAFA and has great knowledge of the time with Tom Adams and the comparison a leadership thing compared to no.
Mhm.
Um, I often find that when persons like Mr. Murray speaks and contributes to the affairs at hand, obviously they stand and they listen, right? And it gives it, or in my mind, it is supposed to prompt them to have some sober thoughts about what they're doing to the people as a government. If somebody of Miss Murray's stature stands and says, "Hey, these are valid concerns. We need to take them into consideration. But they would look past him. They would look past Neil Harper. They would call us terrorists
And
um,
anarchists.
and anarchists and people who commit treason, right? Instead of taking the legit criticism on board to govern for the betterment of the people. So I mean, just to end off on Miss Murray, I like how he gives his contribution to the affairs. Um, Obviously, seeing what we would say the past Barbados Labour Party was like in terms of governance, how it has changed philosophically along the way um, into doing, I would say, some nefarious deeds against the people of this country. Um, we had the we always have and will have political actors. So his analysis on the actors like the Attorney General and some of the idiotic things that he said today. Um, like I say, I do enjoy that from hearing it from so close.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
so yeah,
It
so
is
that's my two.
enjoyable. But you know, I want to ask you something, Kemar. You know, something Mr. Morris said about the drafting of those bills. And I believe that Caswell has been alluding to that since we started this program. You know, he was saying how difficult it is to find good drafters, and how it seems as though these bills are being it could, I think what he's saying might be drafted from people outside of the culture. You know, what are your thoughts about that? Does that ring true to you?
Yeah, but the Attorney General isn't supposed to be the person who draft all laws in Barbados. So
No, no, no. He
Not,
certifies.
mhm.
He certifies. He certifies them as being fit and proper
right,
to go the process.
Now,
right,
now what
but
happens here, right? When a bill is drafted, first it starts out as a policy from coming from the minister. Minister will tell DPS, well, we want an act done along these lines, and you get it done in layman's language, and that is sent to the Chief Parliamentary Council, who then puts it in legalese. It is a process. These people want it done now. They don't want to wait because drafting is it's probably one of the hardest parts of the legal profession because you have to be able to draft a piece of legislation and make sure it don't conflict with other existing legislation. So you have to draft and check and research to see that you are not only passing the law but not changing something else. So it is not something that you can do overnight. But this government comes in, wants something done right now, and you can't get drafters to behave like that because it's meticulous work that you have to do. People think
Ca-
that
ca-
but yeah, go ahead, man.
Castle is very right. The very language. He's saying the language written cat in one bill dealing with the Ministry of Education must mean the same thing cat dealing with the gymnasium. It has to be consistent across. So, yeah, so there's a very detailed, minute, scrupulous. It really is an exceptionally demanding task. So therefore, very few people are prepared to go in and do it. But it is very very important. And and part of my other objection to the way this bill has gone and the background, the context in which it has been brought to Barbados is that we've had Barbadian leaders. I mean, Prime Minister Barrow made it clear that we're friends of all, salaries of none. I remember, so you don't take you don't take pushes from anybody. You don't feel anybody's better than you. You might be better, but certainly not better. Especially when you had a more distinguished origins than them when you were a colony. But the point is, you remember the I tell you what I mean. Remember when there was the shipwrighter so-called shipwrighter agreement?
Yes.
The shipwrighter agreement, Marcy, if you probably I'm not sure if you were hearing though, this is the early 90s and 90s. It was an agreement that would facilitate greater cooperation between the United States and the Caribbean islands, for drug running, against drug running, gun smuggling, against crime in general and whatnot. And they sent a draft down to they circulated a draft. And I wouldn't embarrass the governments by saying this one, telling them that oh Barbados has agreed to it. Barbados likes it. And rather than pick up the phone and call in to check Barbados, somebody went ahead and signed it.
Gonzales, Trinidad. Gonzales in St. Vincent, Trinidad, and in Trinidad, they blackmailed him because the Attorney General's brother was on death row in Florida. So they tell him, well, look, if you don't sign this, he'll go and think so. The Trinidad passed it fast, agreed to it fast. Gonzales
Oh,
came on the other hand and said, if he, when Arthur objected, because I was sitting in the same room when my boss said no, but this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, and communicated to the Prime Minister, and the Prime Minister said, well, hell no, his Attorney General said this is what will happen. And Arthur said, no way in hell. And then Gonzales came and said, but if he didn't look at it that way, they never looked at it. Barbados
so
was
in other
Barbados.
so they had to redraft it for Barbados to sign it.
You
They were not a
see,
carte blanche, right? Because they had people looking out for it, and they used their own brains, their own education, their own. No American or Britisher could love Barbados more than Barbadians. Can't.
yeah.
Because that bill allowed the Americans to pursue you, and if you run to Barbados, they could come in the harbor, come right through the harbor, and come after you too,
They
and
can enter your territory. They
chase you
can
into
enter
our
your.
country.
They can enter your territorial waters,
I
and
don't tell you
you can
anything.
say nothing about it.
But
No. As a result of Barbados. Sorry, go ahead, Maris. Yeah.
no, I was saying, Kemar, listening to this here, Kemar, to see how those leaders in that time, they stood as like a barrier then, and to make sure Barbados was protected. What do you think, Kemar, is a reason why our government, this government in particular, just opens the door, and whatever the international agencies say, they go with it? Because here it is, you're getting real story from, this is true stories from, I love these stories, from Mr. Murray and Mr. Franklin of what happened with that shipwriters agreement, and where our Arthur says no, no, not like that, not so fast. Kemar, I want to hear from you. What do you think is the difference now?
Well, this was not the situation in between the time when former Prime Minister Franklyn Stuart was in. Barbados still had all of the sovereignty. He said that Barbados was the freest black country in the world, or if not close to being the freest black country in the world. He said that as Prime Minister, and that has changed drastically. We went to the IMF as soon as the general election turned in 2018, and today we are now $5 billion plus in debt to those institutions alone, uh, and that's scary. So they now call the shots. The IMF has an office in Barbados, right?
But but Kemar, the bank could tell you because he would have been closer to Tom at the time. I remember Tom went to the IMF in 1981, and people hardly knew. You know why? Because Tom said no, he ain't doing that. No, he's not doing this. No, he's not doing that. And the
But
IMF back
apart
then
from that,
was
Kaz,
there.
yeah, apart from that, Kaz, like he was a prime minister. I don't had a master's degree in politics, philosophy, and economics. He was an economist. So he. I remember he started talking in '71 about inflation in Barbados and things going up. This was before the energy crisis. And in the '71 election, people were saying, "Man, if inflation means more fridges and stove and cars and things, we like it." By the time Barbados had to go to the IMF, but Prime Minister Adams knew what he had to do as a trained economist, and he did it. So by the time he got to the IMF, when Arthur gives a story, and the reason I'm glad to get a chance to reveal some of these issues, that some of these narratives that none of the prime ministers were able to record themselves because they passed without writing memoirs.
Is dropped out? Is dropped out again. He will come back in. We can't hear you. We can't hear you, Mr. Murray. You know, Kimar. The question is, and we're gonna go on for a little, if you guys would allow me tonight, because tonight the people are on. They're between.
I think
Oh,
I'm back. I think I'm back now.
Yeah,
I don't
Glenn.
understand why.
The last thing you said was they passed without writing memoirs.
Right, right. And Prime Minister Arthur said that when he was then parliamentary secretary, Ministry of Finance for Owen Arthur, because that's how Owen Arthur discovered him as a civil servant. That's another story. And I'll tell these stories sometime today. But he said at breakfast the next morning after he arrived in Washington, he got a napkin. I wrote on the one side of the back of the napkin what Barbados wanted for the IMF. And it was done. It was a done deal, no sweat, because they knew what we were doing. Now, it makes me remember that in March 2014, I wrote two columns in the Sunday Sun. And I said that the next minister of finance, next minister of finance in Barbados should be a trained economist. And people thought I was being unfair to Miss Motley because they said because she's not a trained economist. She's been minister of finance, she's been minister of economics, but she's not a trained economist. Because when I saw some of the issues and how Prime Minister Adams, the whole Prime Minister Arthur had to navigate things because they were able to call on their own training and experience and skills, technical skills to deal with issues to make sure Barbados does not get a raw deal. I remember Prime Minister Adams and we would spend some after work on evenings. We'd sit in his office, we'd talk about matters, he'd go through his papers, etc. And one evening he said, "Glenn, would you get Dr. Blackman from the Central Bank?" I took the phone and called. I gave him the phone. And he and Dr. Blackman had a discussion for about half an hour to 40 minutes. He was disputing the figures he was getting from the central bank. It was Prime Minister Adams who had a photographic memory, and they said he could have won a Barbados scholarship in any field, maths, physics, chemistry, anything at all. Classics. He was that good. Right. The figures he saw figures, and he told me while we were waiting for Mr. Dr. Blackman that if the figures that have come to him, because every day the Minister of Finance gets a printout. I'm not sure what form it comes in from the central bank, showing the performance of the economy, foreign exchange, those kind of details. And when Mr. Adams looked at it, he said, if these figures are true, it means we were the IMF program. It means we failed the IMF program. And if this got out, it will wreck the Barbados economy. And he said, I know from my own memory and my own thing, this cannot be true. And finally, Dr. Blackman agreed with him. And they had to change the figures to comply with what Mr. Adams thought that they should not have been what they were. So I'm saying he was able to do that because of his own skills. And the basic reason why I promote the idea of that the Minister of Finance should be a trained economist. The economy of the world never shuts down. Everything has happened instantly. It's being recorded, it's being reported, and people are reacting to it. You have to be known as a trained economist. Even though you might not know the exact what to do, it should trigger something in you, good or bad, as to how you should approach this thing. But my reason was that if you are not a trained economist and you have 3 or 4 different economists tell you different things, on what basis do you decide which one to go with? You must. If you have 5 consultants, if you have 5 consultants, which consultant do you listen to?
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
I rest my case, as they say.
Yeah. Well, I thank you so much, Mr. Murray, for tonight. I know it's not all that you have to say because you didn't.
Oh no.
I have it here. You didn't talk yet about the pressure groups on 1976, but we've gone way past the time. I think what we want to do is to move the conversation between the 4 of us and the 873 people who are watching.
Wow.
We want to move that conversation to, what do we do now? People are making they are making suggestions, and I want to, Kemar, I want to bring you in the conversation again and to ask you, Kemar, Can you outline? People are asking, what do we? People really feel, that they're looking. They need answers. What do we do now as a people? We're gonna march Saturday. What else can we do, Kimar?
Well, at this time, I think it is time to start preparing, and we started a bit of that in terms of you having the groups, which you may need to restart again with some commitment from the people on the
When you
live.
say the groups, what do you mean? Explain, because some people don't know.
On Saturdays, you had some group scheduled where you broke down Barbados in sectors and you
Yes.
asked different persons to represent these sectors. So we had economy, we had health, we had water, we had child protection bill,
Mm-hmm.
digital ID, and we broke down the issues and asked persons to lead in terms of those groups. So maybe we need to bring that back and get some persons to come into the fold in terms of planning. I really think we need to move the show more into the community as well,
Mm-hmm.
right? And start to hear, um, well, we hear from them directly already, but we like to get more face to face on the ground interactions with the people of Barbados and
Mm-hmm.
hear more of how they feel as opposed to hearing more of how Kemar Stuart feels about the issue or how Caswell Franklyn feels about the issue. Because you know we will do what we have to do to represent for you. But sometimes people just want to express themselves to you verbally,
Yes.
um, that you can feel what they're feeling, hear the concerns. Um, and I
So,
think,
Kimar, just a question. I'm going to go back to you, but the question is that you're saying we need to get back to a roadside parliament then, basically.
yes, yes.
Mhm.
So more Aerobaro movies. We need to show the Aerobaro movie more regular. Have some spots around that we can go around and edit the movie. I have some community engagement with the people of Barbados. Ask them to come out their houses and we go visit them and see living circumstances, see how the community life is in many areas. Um, see how people traverse every day, see what the bus service is like in people's area, see how the lighting, see issues. There's a lot of serious things going on in the communities in North Marcia. And if we can put our presence right in the heart of the community, I think that would change completely the dynamic of what we're doing here and to get direct support and buy-in from the people so that when we come forward to present, we be presenting live, interactive information so that people don't think that nobody's paying us to come out here every other day. And they're accusing you of being a DLP today.
Yeah, I heard about that, but we will address that before the show is done.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
but you didn't even tell me anything.
Someone called me and told me that they said that I was a DLP. Might as well I try to deal with that right now. But I want to go back to Kimar because I'm actually writing Kimar as you're speaking. Um, that I'm a DLP, that I'm a member of the DLP. They said the Kimar.
Yeah, they said that you're a member of the DLP,
Listen,
full-fledged member. Though.
I want to tell the all 870 of you and those who are going to come and watch it, my UK people and my all the different people that watch it while I'm sleeping. Listen, I am not a member of the DLP. I have the DLP cursing me, quarreling with me, and they quarreling me, say I'm part of the DLP. Isn't that interesting? The DLP saying that I am maligning the party. And I think people within the DLP who know me know I'm not maligning the party. We keeping them honest. We keeping them on their toes. Everybody, the UPP, APP, whatever P, whatever. If you're a political party, we are not giving you any pass. I am sorry. We're not doing it. Okay? I'm not an DLP member, just so you know. Continue, Kima.
Yes. So as I was saying, the people out there are asking, as they move around Barbados, they're asking for us to come to their communities, to come to their houses, to see what it's like. They would like to meet us, have discussions with us. Um, I really think that should be our next move to connect directly with the people of Barbados, educate them as well, some more roadside parliaments, again, more Elbar movies, more interactive thing, and let us help to bring more practical solutions because I'm sure that whenever we go into a community, but the next day if they were lacking roads, the government can be there the next day doing all the roads, but not street lights, cutting down the grass, painting over the whole neighborhood. Every had more houses, everybody and they can got more houses, but the next day,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because that's the power of the people. That when we raise issues on the platform, the government often know that they're doing wrong, often have to revert and come and do the right thing. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that we should take that power that we've created among ourselves as the loyal opposition and bring it to a practical solution to help move the causes of the people forward.
Yeah, yeah. And as I said, I've been writing, and we know I believe that the next roadside parliament, Mr. Franklin, we've been writing the police and so on, and have a number of places. Well, actually, the movie. Let me speak on that because that's what I have the authority to speak on. It's a movies, and this is a dream of my husband to take the movie around, and a lot of that movie, Gen people were actually filmed in St. John because and we use St. John as our base, as our production house. Really. So we are going to show the movie in St. John. And out of that, if you would like, out of that, Mr. Franklin can come a roadside parliament. So definitely, St. John is where we really believe that we're going to go next, and do we will have our discussion just like what we did in Independence Square. Yeah, there. But great suggestions. What can we do? Read this bill. We
No,
can march. Yes.
no, no, but see, when Kemar was speaking, he was talking about what we can do, right? But I when I'm not speaking, I read the comments. Can we capture those comments too? Because Glenn was speaking about not the bill was not done the way we do it in Barbados. Not they don't understand our culture and that kind of stuff. And Joe Drop Warren in the comment said, like when they wanted people to leave their homes when they were being repaired and rent a house, and when the repairs are finished, you got to get a certificate, pay for a certificate to get back in, because that's what this government wanted to do, and that was a bill that they actually had on the floor of the house to pass in one day. As a matter of fact, that day I didn't go to lunch because when I got the bill the same day when they went to Parliament, the Senate, and I seen it for the first time, hearing that it's going to be debated after lunch. I missed lunch. And I sat down there and I went through the bill, and that was one of the things that I saw, and I highlighted it. So as a result, that was taken out because they wanted to. When you want to repair your house, you know how Barbadians do the house. They repair and live and come back. They put the build. They got a wooden house. They put the front and wall and they live in that, and then they do the back until they have a beautiful wall house. And the government was saying, no, you can't do that. You got to move out, rent someplace, and then get permission to move back in after you get a certificate from the government. And they actually put that in legislation in Barbados. And it only came up because I missed lunch that day because the bill was the first time I saw it was that there, and I said it can be debated after lunch. Well, I went to lunch. And then the event that particularly like my coming mother didn't cook yet anyhow. So um, because they don't understand our culture. They pick it up from someplace else and they run with it. So we need to see these pieces of legislation long before they hit the house. And Dan was talking about the green paper and the white paper. All of these things happen before you get the first draft of the bill. But no, sometimes we get a first draft on the 10th, then a second draft on the 11th because they realize that the first draft was nonsense, and then a third draft on the 12th. I have seen that and next thing you know, they send them down to you then, and sometimes you get all three drafts the day you turn to Parliament, and they ignore the first two. It is a complete mess because they want to do things by stealth, so that the people of Barbados does not want the people of Barbados does not want that type of behavior, but they want to do it to us. You know, Mayor had this T-shirt that says, "Mayor cares." I feel the printer is left off the S, the first S. Mayor cares.
Caswell. But thank you for that. Thank you for that and the humor too. But I want to get back to this bill, the cyber bill. We have the march coming up on Saturday. But is it only the march? I see. I agree with Caswell. If there's a way, Kemar, we could save the comments of the chat because the people in the chat have some brilliant ideas coming in the chat, and I was writing them down too, Caswell. Where I saw Adrian Hines was very. I loved what he was doing in the chat, Adrian. He was saying, okay, so we can march, and we can write letters, and we can call our parliamentary representative, Mr. Murray. What are some of the other things we can do regarding stopping this bill from passing, Mr. Murray?
I think you should seek to apply as much and maximum public pressure. I express the public's view. I think I like to see them. I'm old fashioned, so I like to see things. I like to see a document. You should be able to compile a document representing the feelings, the thoughts, the ideas, the objections, the pros, the cons, and what's wrong with another petition? Another petition for like this would be a much more representative of the public opinion than mostly because people actually have to physically write in, sign the petition. And that I understand that last petition, that last document you circulated that was supposed to go all MPs, I understand that very, very well. Build on that. Barbados is still a reading society. That's why we spend so much money at school. Build on that, and they have a document they can't see. Put it on the doorsteps. That's drunk them in information.
Yes.
But
yes.
that is it. But those people can't read, you know.
Somebody will read it for them. Then.
Yeah.
Somebody will read it for them. But they can't.
That suggestion. I like that suggestion, Mr. Murray. I found Kemar, the document that we had produced of the concerns of the citizens. That went very far. People were messaging me for it to send to their MPs, and I think that only today I contacted the group that worked on that. I started to put them together, and hopefully before the march we'll be able to we have enough material to put something together again, and then send it out, in our different chats so people can review it. And so on. So we're on that path.
Marcia, remember I have some ideas on that score that we can talk about tomorrow.
Yes. So
Right.
We're going to send it to you before we send it out.
Okay,
right?
No problem.
Yeah.
And I also had somebody suggested that a very strong fan of the show says that if you have the technology or the technique or the person with the skills, that if you can post it is social media language, if you can get some of the comments as they come up and circulate them as it's happening, he said that would add to enlighten this and reach more people as the show progresses. I'm not sure exactly how it's done, but I can probably check with them and see how it's done. I'll
Right,
let you
and to
know.
find out exactly what they mean. I don't know. Kemar, do you understand what he's saying?
Not quite.
All right. I'll have that for you by tomorrow.
All right, no
Yes.
problem.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. No problem. Yeah. Yeah. I think someone here in said Kimar that one of the things that especially this bill I want us to focus in because we need to we have to focus because Wednesday these people are going to the Senate, right? So we need to really focus in. Um,
Well, excuse me. Why don't you make sure that the members of the Senate get copies of it of your document?
that each person in the Senate gets
Yes,
a copy
yeah,
of
that's right.
the document.
Caswell, I think if you can get the mail delivered to them when they get there or before, right, Caswell?
Yeah, but you know they knocked me out. I can't communicate with scientists. No, you know
No, but
they knocked
everybody
me
has a
off.
friend. No, but if somebody writes a letter to Senator Cummings and leaves it at the Senate, she should be able to get it.
Yeah, she will get it.
Right there, you are.
Once you
Forget about
take it, once you take it to the
the
receptionist
clerk. All right,
downstairs, the clerk will pass it on to them. You don't need
right,
to.
yeah,
Okay, so we can take letters to the clerk at the where do we where exactly people are listening exactly where do they go?
the Parliament building. So the household assembly downtown. Upstairs of the building is the clerk office.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can leave it. There's a booth downstairs where you probably check by stop by a security guard, ask about your business, and you can tell him what it's about. You can leave. You can call. You can probably ask to speak to the cleric himself, or you want to deliver to him himself, right? Or you can leave it there and have it distributed to them when they come in.
Yeah, now what happens? You will take it to the receptionist. When you come in, you will see a guard sitting in a little thing there. On the other side, there's a receptionist on the ground floor.
Okay,
And
right.
so
Okay,
if you leave it there, they will they will they will pass it up to the clerk. It will get to the clerk
okay,
from there.
okay,
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah. Kimar, someone is speaking about a survey. I know you and I we spoke about surveys before. Part of the challenge that we have is that the survey, you have to, we needed to purchase the software so that it has our branding, on it. I think it's something like this, a survey, doing a quick survey of people saying how they feel about this bill could also work. What do you think about that, Kimar?
Yeah, yes, that can work for no. I guess it doesn't have to be fancy with all the your name be on it. The Marcerit Show be on it on the name. So that could suffice for no. If you don't have cars, horse, you ride cow or donkey for no. um,
Right.
so you would just
And
have to
I'm
do.
sure you will get 73% too.
Oh wow, not
Uh,
not that not that big survey, not like that. We mean our online survey. Go ahead, Kimar. Continue, Kimar.
Yeah, so we can work on that and get that off the ground probably before the March, right?
Mm-hmm.
And have it circulated. We could try for Friday show
Yes.
um, and set it up. Have some questions prepared and garner a percentage or garner how the people feel about specific issues.
Yeah, yeah. I think that would be great. Mr. Murray, is there anything else that you've been in
yeah,
government all these years?
yeah.
Anything else?
I would suggest you decentralize your distribution. Um, if you are becoming a well-known public figure in Barbados now, Caswell. Let persons, Kemar people know you, and you can go Spice Town, Whole Town Center, just pass them around supermarket where people gather. I use that as a convenient way to get the information in their hand. It's cheap. It's save time, and you get to interact with people, explain your policy, and you do that. That's part of your own process of educating people about what you intend to do. Too. or we stay in the morning, you know. Um, it's down, there's 3 or 4 different places. 6 roads, one of the Warren's, one of those commercial centers where you
Mm-hmm.
must see people and just hand them out,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Caswell, any thoughts on this survey of practical things that we can do? People are very concerned about it, and we want to be able to, just offer that support to people. What else can we do?
I don't know, Marcia, because I'm concentrating more on getting the people out there, getting the people to come out and let people see. But in order to get them out, we got to educate them because even though we have 800 people plus, somebody just told me we got 870 on this thing. Um, Even though we have them, that is not a representative figure that would say one in every household. So we need to get closer to the people, get our message out other than on the Marcy Week show. We got to we have to take the show off from here and take it outside. Like we plan the parliament, the Westside Parliament and stuff like that. But I think we have to do that. I think for the next thing, not now, because if you're trying to do too much, you can mess up at one time. Because right now we want to deal with this thing, we want to deal with it because this is happening now. So we have to have all things in gear. But the problem here with doing that is that the government sticks them in so fast.
Mm-hmm.
And because they don't want people to know, they want to pass them. Like with the ID bill, they passed the ID bill in 2021, and left it there for 2 years, and nobody know it was passed. And they did it because Monique Tate, Crystal Dress, and I were absent from the Senate that day. It was not even supposed to be debated that day, and so we didn't. And we weren't even given a copy of the bill because it wasn't supposed to be. But they put it on the order paper that day and passed it when nobody not looking. So it is going to be very difficult to be proactive with this government because you gotta be a soothsayer because they keep secrets even from each other. I remember
Mm-hmm.
when the Senate was debating the bill to give us a president and a new constitution, that kind of stuff. When I got up, I said, "But you're ready to pass the constitution today?" And I tell them, "Boy, nothing." They laugh at me because they didn't even realize that they were passing the constitution. People in the Senate that were scheduled to go and vote on the bill didn't realize that that bill contained a new constitution. And you hear people all Barbados talking about, oh, we ain't got no constitution. Yeah, we had one, but they didn't even tell the Senate. They passed it. So it's going to be very difficult.
Yeah.
We need a national strike. We need to get the people to start home a day or two and
Mm-hmm.
let our feelings be known because the government really don't care.
Yeah.
Because you hear the prime minister saying that, or just a handful of people out there. Let me tell you something. If it is one fella, you should take the time out to explain to him because they will come to your house during the campaign and they will talk to you and beg you not to vote for the Dems and explain why you're the best and all kind of stuff. But no, they have these control committee meetings where you got to submit your questions before and then you get them to asking questions. One or two people are told to praise the prime minister and then she makes a little joke and that's it. That is not governance. That is showmanship.
Yeah.
We need to get it. As a matter of fact, I think what we need to do the next time they got one of these community speaks, that we go to them and then we plan our strategy. We will ask questions. We'll give them the questions too. But I'll tell you what will happen from there and talk up in the air.
All right, but I think these are great suggestions. Kemar, before we go, is there anything that you came on tonight that was not discussed and it's on your mind and you want to share that? Because I know that you didn't. Normally, you get a chance at about like 9 o'clock and you go, but we had such a packed program to lots of guests, and we are the regulars. But Kemar, what's on your mind before we go that you want to speak on?
Well, first, I just want to issue a reminder that we have our alternative views tomorrow at 7. Um, We're having an interesting guest, the economist. Second thing, second, I don't want to go into it in a lengthy way, but I just want to touch on it briefly to say that I don't know if you all read the newspaper this week and saw that there were responses available to the lands at Pool in St. John, right? And it was reported today is no Wednesday. You heard anything from Dwight Sunderland yet?
You get permission?
Well, I know why you didn't get permission, right? But we can get into that on a later date. But on a more
Yeah.
serious note, right?
It can't get more serious than that, Kemar. Trust me. But we will talk about it another time.
He didn't respond yet. But if you notice, the chairman of the whole project, the Hope Inc., he responded and he said that the title deeds, it was in the newspaper big and bold, that the title deeds were never legally handed over and that the land still belonged to Clico, or well, I should say Res Life or Resolution Life. That was reported in the newspaper, right? So they tricked the people on that whole project, all of them, especially the people in St. John and the people who signed up for those houses, knowing full well that they never had any title deeds, but came to trick people that they were giving them houses, telling them that they could get the land for free if they agreed to put solar panels on the house. And now all the lands, the houses rotting down or whatever. The money was spent, by the way. Taxpayers' money was spent on that project, by the way, to build on land that the government never even had permission to build on, right? But like I said, we discussed that another time. But I just wanted to highlight.
Kemar, give them a little teaser. Tell them who the chairman is. That's
Oh
a little
wow.
teaser. That a little teaser to start. They will come. They will come. They will come. Sunday or
Sunday,
whatever they will do that. They will
Sunday,
come
because
Sunday. Just
we
tell them who
yeah.
the chairman is, man.
Well, let's just say that, or it showed public information, public record, by the way, that the chairman now came from Dominica, working with Mr. Scarrett. I mean, you're tracking back before that, he was at the Four Seasons project working with Avinash Prasad and the Prime Minister.
Oh wow. Listen, next Sunday going to be hot. You got to tune in after the march because listen, we're not stopping. We are not stopping. Okay. Now, the last thing I want us to, I was talking to Mr. Murray today, and he says you have to read the definition of an anarchist, right? Just so everybody, okay, because these are very very serious statements that are being made. They seem to me that they are making themselves guilty of that bill because they're hurting people's feelings right now. They are making me feel anxious at this time. But an anarchist is a person who advocates or promotes anarchism or anarchy, right? That is an anarchist. I mean, I know we all know, but we just want to just look at it, right? And to try to figure out who is he talking about? I know that for our program, we come on here because it's obvious we have to do this. There's no opposition in Barbados. We have to. We barely hear from our different parties. I was told that the DLP was speaking tonight about this particular bill, which is good. And I like when they do that, and I commend them when they do that. But we don't have voices to speak up for the people. So what I don't know of any. So what is the attorney general really talking about? Is it he's talking about like a little woman like myself here that comes on here to talk, and to encourage Barbadians to speak up and to have a voice? Is he talking about Kemar, Caswell, people like Mr. Murray, Miss McLean? Who are the anarchists in Barbados? Does anybody know who these people people are? Mr. Murray, you know who the anarchists are?
No, I don't. I have no idea. I don't know of anybody in Barbados who could be, who I think could be safely, accurately portrayed and categorized as an anarchist now or ever in my life. I don't. I know of any Barbadian at all. I can't think of any, and I've seen a lot of people. I think they're just reacting to pressure, public pressure. That's all. And therefore, swiping. You know, you play cricket, swipe, just shut your eye, and Lego shut your eye and open your mouth and something and drop out and call and talk foolishness.
But no, you see when you shy eye been playing cricket and you shy eye and swipe at the balls and it's getting in your face.
There you are. You deserve it.
But
No.
we're going to close. We're 10:21. I did say we'll go over because we had a
Yeah.
lot going on. And
Just
those who want
just
to hear more of Kemar, you will hear more of him on Friday and more, and definitely more on Sunday. Definitely more on Sunday.
Marcia,
Because
I
yes,
let just I found out my last time I found out after checking out my laptop I needed a new battery. The one was weak. I'm not sure what happened tonight. I'm using my phone. It was better, but so I've ordered a battery. So hopefully another week or so I should be in a proper position to have an uninterrupted service. But let me apologize for the interruptions and the breakdowns and low loss of transmission and whatnot.
listen, I we know the area. We understand, and we were hearing you loud and clear, and we love to hear you. So thank you for coming on. Thank
Thank
you so very much. But let me just give our final comments. Kimar, what do you want to say to the people of Barbados before we go?
I just want to say thank you all for another show. Um, Before I forget, I just want to say thank you to the gentleman on those two voice notes. um, that those voice notes, I really like it because
Spot on.
right. I just want to thank you for that type of love. I really and deeply appreciate that. Um, that is something that money can't buy. And they really really warm my heart. And I let's just say that I intend to live up to um some high expectations and fill whatever boots that may be necessary to help take this country forward. So with that being said, Saturday is the march. Come out to the march, call out all your friends, get out the bloggers, send it to everybody you know. WhatsApp it. Do the same thing they want to charge us for. WhatsApp it, send pictures. They ain't passed the bill yet, so we can still put out some memes on them. We can still come up with the placards on them, right? And let's have the
Show my
biggest
placard.
march.
I didn't get to show your Friday. I promise I'm going to show the thing. Yeah. So sorry, Kimar.
Yeah, so let's bring out everybody that we can to help make this the biggest march that Barbados has ever seen. Because if we don't stand up to fight against this and to stand up against tyranny and dictatorship, this is the end of the road for
And
freedom for
anarchy.
Barbados. Right? So I am urging everybody to come out this Saturday and let us continue the fight for truth and justice to bring this country to a safe place again. Thank you.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Mr. Murray.
I just want to say, as usual, a very stimulating show. I learned a lot from others, and I just want to. I think I've mentioned the KMR already. I think you have to spend a session talking about the IMF, how it operates, how it weakens and impoverishes countries, and so that Barbados are just cruising along. No proper explanation of what austerity means, how it bites into you and devalue your whole quality of life. I think we need to bring that. I think we have an obligation, and we have some good case examples in the Caribbean, particularly Jamaica, who's been in it since 1970 something. I think we owe it to the Barbadian community.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Murray, and it is a pleasure again having you here. General, close out for us, please.
All I want to say tonight is simply this: this bill is a make or break for the people of this country. You will either be able to speak, or if this bill is passed without your intervention and trying and pulling it back, you will be third class citizens of this country. You won't be able to speak, and even if you tell the truth, because the bill says whether truth or false, and somebody is hurt or feel embarrassed by what you're saying, you can spend 7 years in jail. You know, if you pick up a gun and shoot at somebody or rob a place with a gun, you can get 5. But if you type on the computer and tell the truth about somebody and they feel hurt by it, you can go to jail for 7 years. You know, and pay $70,000 or both. So if that is what you want for this country, stay home. If that is not what you want for this country and for your children and your children's children, come out and let the government know that we are not standing for this. So join us on Saturday and let your feelings be understood by this government and let them be heard. I want them to say, oh, these people serious, yeah. You saw all them people out there, and the only way that can happen for the government to say that is if you come out and march. So join us on Saturday. Bring your families, bring everything else, and come. Family, friends, whatever. If you can't walk too good, still come because we might be able to get in the bus. But this is about you. The young people especially should be out there because these are the people who send the memes and stuff. I said somebody sent me a meme about me. I didn't even know that a meme about me. You know, somebody sent me a meme. You know, I think my job wasn't hurt by it, but you know, some other memes hurt people. People feel a bit embarrassed by them. So that part of your developing culture for the young people would be no more. You would have a cell phone. You have to keep it as an answer phones. They say, hi, how you doing? Put down. That's all because the internet would be the worst place for you. If you think, like, for instance, suppose you go down the road and somebody got licked down and you take a picture of them in the family circle there. We ain't hear about it before. And them got it on the internet. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like when you do that. But if you do it, it now becomes a crime, a serious crime, and you can go to jail for 7 years. I hardly think that something like that is worth 7 years in jail when the fella shoot at you and he could only spend 5. You know, so come out and support this march. Your children need you. Children, your parents need you. Everybody, we need you. Come out and march.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Franklin. And let me just thank all of our guests, on the Honorable CORETTA McDonald from Guyana. We had to have her tonight because they were live, tonight. So we want to thank her for coming on and for keeping us abreast of what's happening in Guyana. And we really appreciate that. I want to thank um, Mrs. Rose Corbin for giving us that very thoughtful presentation. A lot to think about. Mr. GLYNE Murray, thought provoking again, very educational. And of course, our resident panelists, Caswell Stuart and Kemar, Caswell Franklin and Kemar, Caswell Franklin and Kemar Stuart. Thank you all very, very much. Guys, keep sharing and let us see you all. Plan it out to be there. We're going to have a little bus, not a bus, but we're going to have a van for that will be on the road with us for those persons who can't. Okay, so we're gonna can't walk with us. All right. So please, 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 come out. The numbers matter. Slavery done. Slavery done. Okay, so we're gonna go out with this with our song. So go ahead, please.
Let we march, let we march, let we march. Barbados, Time for people get up and make up organize. Come from country and town. Kick down Jericho wall.
Opposition fall in line.
Politicians run and ball. One by one, brick by brick, they crumble and fall. At the voice of the Almighty, and the trumpet call. Lies and corruption, and this administration. Lies and corruption, beer abomination. Lies and corruption, administration. Lies and corruption, washing up the nation. Lies and corruption, and this administration. Lies and corruption, beer abomination. Lies and corruption, administration. Lies and corruption, washing up the nation. Vaccines can't left in memory. Trade and tidy won't be mandatory. Penny change them up on the elderly. Treat you like an enemy.
Let me march.
So good night. Have a good night. Sleep well, and we see you on Friday. God bless. Bye-bye.